jumping right into it clearly.
Go.
So we are live.
So I'm still going to bring YouTube up on this screen once I get the notification.
All right.
This way we can see, unless you want YouTube up there.
No, I can see the comments in the StreamYard. So
all right. Some weird 80s shit just popped into my fucking dome.
Okay.
Because of the like, baby, I can't wait. I can't wait. Baby, I can't wait. It was it's some other fucking song that, you know, prompted this, and now it's fucking there it is. I can't.
All right.
There's nothing I can do about it. That's what's there.
If anybody is in the chat,
hello there. In the chat.
Please give us some feedback on our audio because, you know, audio issues, they always seem to come up no matter what. So please give us the feedback.
Going to hit the like button.
Yep. As everyone should be doing right now.
Make sure that's on mute.
Ah, well, thank you, Andy Barunda. Appreciate it.
Oh.
Has Andy joined us in a stream before?
I don't recognize the name.
All right. Well, welcome.
I know Portuguese is such a strange language.
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
I mean, we can look at that and understand it, right? Because it's like muy bien, except it's muito bem.
Okay. Sure.
Or something like that. I don't know. I'm obviously not pronouncing it right because I can't speak the language.
Right.
But I have a baseline of Romantic languages that I can, you know, get through a lot of different other languages.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't one of those fucking schmucks who took Latin. Like, oh, if you take Latin, you'll understand all the Romantic languages. No, you won't. That is the biggest fucking fallacy I've ever fucking seen. Not once have I run into a linguist who was like, well, my success in being a linguist is because I took Latin in high school. Sure it was. No, I've never, not once. And we've interacted with a lot of linguists throughout our career. I know I have anyway.
Yep. So
Evo G, what's up? Evo. Like I whatever, for whatever reason, I'm reading things that are equating them to sounds.
Right.
And
Scott.
You know what I just realized? Why am I wearing this?
It's because we needed to hear Tom when we were doing our test earlier, but I guess
I mean, I could be wearing it just to get used to wering it, but I'm like, I don't hear anything in the ear cup, so like, why am I wearing this thing?
See, this is some of the pre-show banter that you get to see. If you only listen to the audio version of the podcast, you don't get any of this.
Yeah.
So, all right, we about ready to start, though?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, then.
I got my toast ready. I've got things to do.
Places to see?
No, I mean like things for my week.
Okay.
I brought a couple things.
Oh.
That's what I was trying to remember.
Gotcha.
And now I remember.
Are they stuff from the...
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we could talk about that. I thought we already talked about it, didn't we?
No, because we ran out of time last week because we went for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
Now, which camera do I look at? Do I still look at this one?
Yeah.
Because it's still the camera one,
Yeah.
camera two. Camera one, camera two.
It's just they're feeding off of a different computer.
Jesus Christ. We need a Venn diagram right now of how this fucking shit.
This is why we need a producer. We need Jamie. Can you pull up that video?
Yep.
You know?
Jamie, you got that video?
Which was the best meme. What was that one about? It was like a week or two ago. Somebody posted, I think it was in the group, in the Facebook group.
I posted it.
Oh, no, that's right. It was the Annie killing younglings. Yep. Annie would never do that. Jamie, can
you pull that video up? Tevin's in there. Dave is now Mr. Roscom. Mr. Roscom is Dave. Oh, well, see, because we switched cameras.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
Can we fix that?
Yeah, hold on. We're doing it live, folks.
Hey, good job.
Hey, now you have to do the same thing.
Do I?
Yeah.
Do I have to?
Or this can just be the Dave show. Dave and Dave in the morning.
Shit. I left and now I can't get back.
Just go back to the link I sent you.
What happened to now?
We passed? Or no, wait.
No, what happened to then?
We passed then.
When?
Just now.
When will then be now?
Soon.
How soon?
Now, hopefully you guys can still hear Dave. Well, fuck. So you can see Dave, but you can't see me. But all of the audio is feeding off of my computer, which is it's a lot of fuckery going on around here right now.
There is a fuck ton of fuckery going on.
All right.
That is
really
certain.
Really, the question mark. Jesus Christ. Whatever.
All right.
So can you still hear both of us all right? Sound still good?
Disappeared. We should have reappeared.
Yeah.
I'll get into here. I take the opportunity while you are off. I apologize in advance. I will subscribe. $1 Patreon. Hope you don't find it offensive. Dude, no, in no way. You could, like, if you give us a nickel, one nickel or a hay penny, we are like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you want to give to our Patreon at any amount you can fucking give. Yes.
And
yes.
hey, you know what? You can.
We'll never guilt you into doing it. Like that's not the intent. We just want to make the show better, and this is really the only way we can afford to do it. Right. So that little bit goes into the pile of the other little bits, and then that turns into headphones and new mics. Yeah, new mics and shit like that.
Yeah. And if you can't afford to do that, we totally understand. We're not upset or offended. Yeah. But if you still want to help us out in some way, go make a whole bunch of fake iTunes accounts and give us 5-star reviews.
Yeah, 5-star reviews are free.
Yes. So.
All right. I've got YouTube up. I've got that up.
All right.
We
got good sound checks from both Scott and Supergirl 3000.
You are recording the audio?
I am recording the audio, so there is nothing left for us to do but start the show.
It is amazing. Like, even this piece of shit laptop, how much better it is than that piece of shit.
Well, I'm sure you haven't spilled a drink on this one, so.
I don't know. I've had it for a couple of years. There could have been spillage. Although, like I said, I have done some tuning up, as it were, to this.
All right, fair enough. All right, so if we're ready, we'll do 30 seconds of silence and then roll right into your toast, if you're good. Do you want some more ice? Hey, Supergirl, would you mind bringing us more ice? Dave's already out. His is melted. Thank you.
Please.
All right, 30 seconds of silence starting now.
To Stuart Adams.
To Stuart Adams. You're going to have to elaborate because I have no idea who or what that is.
Stuart Adams is the inventor of a drug that is very near and dear to my heart, and that would be Motrin. I needed somebody to toast, and if it wasn't for the power of the almighty vitamin M, Motrin 800, as we call it, then I would not be sitting here with you today. This This is amazing.
This is an exclusive for the YouTube audience. Turn it sideways so they can see exactly what it is. Turn it sideways. Sideways. Turn. There you go. Yeah.
Slowly and present it.
Kristen just brought us out a cup full of ice. This cup is shaped like a toilet.
Oh my god. Jason, you should just put your lips just on it. Just to
why?
Lips.
Good God, man.
Listen, fuck you. I exist on Motrin as it were. So, yes. Those are the Eagles. What, the toilet bowl?
Oh my God. Wow.
That's
Ivo in the chat taking shots already. We've been going for 30 seconds. So we'll get to the football talk later. But until we do, hello everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars, the greatest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I'm Mr. Jason Roscoe. With me each and every single week, back in the studio once again. Fuck social distancing. The one and only Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I am happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be imbibing in a beverage and be talking about Star Wars and not dealing with all the other things in my reality, as it were.
Fair enough. And what are we talking about this week?
So last week, we covered the last 3 of the 4-part episode that closed out the Clone Wars.
Yep.
Because that's how we do things. And we wanted to reference, because both of us, I think at the same time, thought, what would this be like to fast forward right now to when we see Ahsoka in Rebels? So we decided that we're going to cover the
Twilight of the Apprentice.
Twilight of the Apprentice.
Yeah.
Thunder Chief is what came to my head. Like, I was looking at you and like, Thunder Chief of the Apprentice? That kid, what?
I think you've had a little bit too much Motrin today. Maybe it's time to pull back a little.
There is no such thing.
Yeah, as he's drinking alcohol as well. Jesus Christ.
Motrin and alcohol has absolutely no effect whatsoever. It doesn't. And I take 3 of those a day so I can fucking walk around.
Yeah, and your liver's going, my ass.
It's not the liver. It's like some kidney function, and it's anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are we talking about this week?
So we're going to talk about Twilight of the Adventure, but also that Disney, what is it called? Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian. We've had 2 episodes of that so far, and we're going to talk about that a little bit as well when we get to our main topic.
Did you get to see the second one?
I did.
Great.
Did you?
Of course.
Oh my God.
I didn't.
Well,
I brought it up to you that it was out, and then I didn't get a chance to fucking watch it.
Yeah.
So at least we'll cover the first one.
Yeah. And honestly, I think the first one was better than the second one. The second one was fine.
Okay.
But, I think the first one was a lot more fitting and told a better story.
Well, I guess we'll get into it then.
Yes, we will get into it. But before we get into all of that, we've got some news about next week's episode 150. Every 50 episodes of the All Things Star Wars podcast, we make it about you, the listeners. So once again, we are doing listener call-ins because now, if you remember back, we did this with episode 50 2 years ago.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Yeah, so we had a bunch of our regular listeners call in, and we're doing the same thing. So if you want a spot in episode 150, you got to reach out to us on some sort of social media. The best way to get a hold of us is going to be on Facebook. But if you're one of these anti-Facebook people, Instagram, you can either reach out to the show or to us individually. I'm at Darth Roscom on Instagram.
I'm at PhillyDave75.
Yeah, but you got to get a hold of us some way and book your spot for next week's episode 150. We're doing it Monday, late afternoon, early evening. So I don't know where we're going to cap this thing, but
we'll figure it out. It'll be fair and equitable. Yeah. For some, not for everyone.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Honestly, it's one of those things. This is going to be with our 150th episode. We've been doing this for 3 years. We're going to start breaking into some things that are going to be part of the regular program. And I think the call-in portion of that may not be exclusive for 50 episodes. Yeah. So by breaking ground and using this software, the StreamYard software, and it being so easy and functional, pay us for pimping your software out, by the way.
Yeah, StreamYard.
Start StreamYard, please. Start with Nick, Big Swede, because he started it.
Yeah, he got us on.
Yeah, he got us onto it. Anyway, what? Yeah. We should, hey, while we're plugging people, how about we plug a little bit of Podbelly?
Sure.
So last week, I mentioned a thing that Podbelly was doing.
Little contest.
A little something that to be able to tell the listeners out there, hey, you're listening to this podcast. If you go to podbelly.com/shop and go in, and there's a sticker, Kevin the Pig sticker, that's available. And if you put Kevin the Pig in the discount code, you get a free sticker.
But I would imagine that's not going anymore, is it?
I don't know. But since we're mentioning it now, and if people can still get on it, awesome. If they can't, that means we did a great job of pimping it out, because we are. The All Things Star Wars podcast is the #1 podcast on Podbelly.
That's right.
And I will continue to say that until Brent tells me not to.
Right.
So, yes, and we are. If you go to podbelly.com, we're right there. We're the #1. Yes. There may be bigger alleged podcasts on podbelly.com. Podcasts like the Sofa King guys or some other jackwagons, whatever. Some self-important whatevers.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, the All Things Star Wars podcast, you can go to podbelly.com. You can stream us from the site there. You can contact us. I mean, you obviously can find us on iTunes and Google Play and other places we're supposed to be able to be found, but we still haven't fucking figured that out yet. By.
Yeah.
Anyway, so podbelly.com. Use Kevin the Pig. Go to in the shop, get a free sticker.
Yeah.
And I should have worn my Podbelly shirt today.
It's not that important.
I like the Tatooine shirt though.
Yeah,
it's a good shirt. It's too bad I'm so fucking fat right now. Jesus Christ.
I'm sure the alcohol isn't helping.
I wish I was drinking enough to be able to blame it.
Yeah. So,
what about our Patreon supporters?
Our supporters like the one and only Tony Ferrari or Camille Donovan, Nick Jackson and Frederick Martin, or we've also got Big Lovin' and Scott Rasmussen, Tactical Swede and Don Solsky, and then, of course, Shotgun Mark and Avery Morgan. Thank you very much for all of your support. You are the reason why we do this.
Speaking of Tony Ferrari, I haven't heard from him in a while.
That is true.
He's kind of fell off the radar.
Yeah.
Hope he's all right.
Yeah. Hope he didn't catch the COVID.
Yeah, no shit.
Get well, Tony.
Oh, Scott brings up a good point. Why did they give Jason their addresses, our Patreon supporters?
This is like a running joke at this point.
It's not even a joke. We got this shit we paid for. We got to fucking...
I don't know why all of this has to fall on me.
Because it's your fucking house.
We'll get to it. Anyway, are we ready to move on with the actual show now?
I don't know. See, as soon as it starts like being uncomfortable for you, now suddenly we have a show to do.
Yeah. So we had a little bit of news this week. Some official news posted on StarWars.com.
Not on We Got This Covered?
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was also posted on CosmicNews.com and ComicBook.com.
Oh, ComicBook.com.
And all of those like super legitimate news sources.
Super legitimate. If it's not on ComicBook.com, it's probably not a real thing.
Right, exactly. Well, StarWars.com, I guess they might have, some more legitimate sources for Star Wars news, maybe. But yeah, they officially announced the big thing that a lot of people are talking about is Taika Waititi.
Right.
Hope I pronounced that right.
Probably not.
He directed one episode of The Mandalorian, one or two. And
at least one.
Yeah. And he's done a whole bunch of other stuff. So after watching that Disney gallery, which we're going to get into later, I realized, he's a very humorous person, and he's associated with a lot of like humorous shows or movies. I didn't realize he was involved with Flight of the Conchords. Yeah. So
that honestly, like the way he is, especially in what we're going to talk about later, like I could totally see that.
Well, and it makes perfect fucking sense because he directed the episode with the two fucking scout troopers at the beginning of The Mandalorian, where they're fucking whacking Baby Yoda and they're missing the fucking can with their blasters. So I'm like, that it's all coming together now. So, but yeah, he has been given a live action movie at this point, which I don't know how the fuck he's going to have time to do this, because I looked him up on Wikipedia. He's got a lot of shit in the works. He's got like movies for fucking Netflix. He's got the next Thor movie. He did Thor Ragnarok.
Yes.
Which
has humorous elements to it.
Oh yeah, quite a bit. But it was very entertaining movie for a boring ass fucking character. So, yeah, he's been given a live action Star Wars movie.
Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
I mean, like it was a boring ass character, but Natalie Portman's kind of tagging along with that.
That is true. So
if you got a good looking Israeli broad that tags along, usually it's worth watching. I'm just saying.
Oh sure, no, I'm not arguing, but regardless, so we don't know the context of this movie. We don't know if it's going to be a standalone. We don't know if it's part of this trilogy that was announced that the fucking Game of Thrones guys backed out of. That's still allegedly coming in 2022.
Bullshit.
Yeah, so
there's no fucking way.
I can't imagine at this point.
There's no fucking way. There's no way. As we sit here right now in 2020, in a pandemic where nothing's been able to fucking happen anywhere in the goddamn world, because they do so much of this shit in fucking Europe and in fucking England. They're locked up right now as bad as anybody.
Yeah.
So, and our overseas listeners that are in the chat, and thank you for joining us. They can tell you straight away. There's no fucking way that they're producing and making a movie right now that'll be ready in 2022.
Yeah, it's
not unless
not
it's
possible. It took Lucas 3 fucking years to make episode 1 and every prequel for that matter.
That's a whole nother conversation, because Lucas was breaking ground with every one of those, with the CGI was doing everything else. I'm thinking along a more modern timeline of what we had with the sequel trilogy and how long it took to make those movies. I mean, if you're going to do it right, if you're going to make a fucking like a Clerks style fucking Star Wars movie, then maybe you can do it in fucking a year and have it hit the screen in fucking 2.
True. But I mean, yeah, if you're going for a full blown real Star Wars movie, you need years.
Yeah. Here's your $10,000. Speaking of Clerks, our friends at the ATSW Escape Pod did Clerks.
They did, or they're doing Clerks?
Or they're doing Clerks, I guess.
Yeah, for their next episode.
They talked about Clerks in their last episode.
Yeah.
And I remember chiming in on, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good movie.
We forgot to mention them earlier.
Okay.
Scott and the Used Abused Pod.
Yep.
Like, they have this whole thing, right? So the Escape Pod guys, they got this like whole, like they actually wrote shit down and fucking read off of it. Where we're so used to doing like the beginning of this shit that when it gets thrown off, that's when like all that gets discombobulated.
Right.
But I mean, honestly,
This
until we start getting ad revenue from these guys, I mean, I'm gonna pimp them as much as possible because I want them to fucking succeed.
Oh sure,
absolutely,
yeah.
Far and away better than we're doing. Absolutely, I'll ride their coattails. However, if I forget, I'm sorry.
Right. And that's a good callback too to episode 100, when we had the Michigan guys here in the studio and Solsky brought like fucking 10 pages of notes. He was over prepared for that.
He was.
So he's bringing that to the Escape
And then he
Pod.
had a bunch of fucking booze on top of White Castle that it got to a point where I don't think he could read half of the time.
Yeah, we were all pretty
we were warmed up nicely.
Yeah.
Thank God for Uber.
I know, right? So anyway, in addition to Taika Waititi getting a Star Wars movie,
what was that going to turn into?
Taika Waikiki. Sorry,
Tito's and Waikiki.
Yeah. So they also announced a new show that's in production that I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to fucking watch.
Okay.
So apparently, I can't remember the fucking bitch's name, and quite frankly, I don't give a shit. Harvey Weinstein's ex fucking assistant, who's some fucking fat cunt, and I'm sorry to bring politics into this, I really am, but some super far fucking psycho lefty, and she is now going to develop a feminist-based Star Wars TV show for Disney Plus. And you know what? Fucking have at it, do your thing,
like
whatever.
Purported feminist base, like it's in the byline.
She's one of the fucking people who believes that, first of all, when it was leaked that she had gotten the job, because this was leaked on all your fucking clickbaity sites a week before StarWars.com actually announced it.
Right.
She deleted 250 fucking tweets. As soon as it was leaked, because she's like a super fucking batshit crazy leftist. I have nothing against liberal people in general. I lean left on a majority of issues.
You used to be one.
Right, exactly. And now I feel like I kind of ride the middle a little bit, but I still lean left on a lot of stuff. Like, come on, we're Gen Xers. Like,
right.
Things like gay marriage, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. Fucking abortion, sure. If you want to kill your baby, go for it. I don't fucking care. Just leave me out of it. But these fucking people that make it like their platform now, that fucking straight white men are the fucking devil and they're the reason for all of the problems in the world, go fuck yourself.
Straight white
men.
Yes.
Straight white, which, you know, obviously we are, but, and yes, we probably had some advantages in life, but I will never, ever accept somebody who tries to normalize fucking talk like that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, fuck off.
It's extremism. Like we've talked about it before. Like, again, not bringing politics into it, but extremism. I am 100% against extremism. Ooh, should we answer this?
Who is it?
It's my daughter.
Oh, go for it.
Hey, Kate, you're on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
You all right?
Hey, Dad, I was thinking about making floating shelves.
Okay.
Okay, can we talk about it later?
That would probably be best.
All right. Love you, bye.
Love you too. Bye. This is the calls I get. I'll get like random calls like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, Kate, you have no tools out there. Like, how are you going to make floating shelves?
Yeah. So anyway, this fucking
leftist, what you put, you definitely dropped cunt once, so might as well do it again.
Yeah, no, she was given a show. She did some other fucking super ultra feminist fucking show.
Isaac jumps in right when I say, "Oh, drop the fucking C-bomb."
I know, right? I was really expecting it to be Kathy, like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah, right. No, I'll hear about that later.
Yeah. No, but, and you know what? Maybe there's an audience for this shit. Although the precedent that's been set up to this point is bullshit like this doesn't have an audience.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
So much of this shit has been getting pushed in Hollywood, and every fucking one of these movies is failing. And they haven't fucking learned. They haven't fucking learned yet. So here we go. Waste some of fucking Disney's money and, you know, put the shit out that nobody's going to like, nobody's going to watch. You know, I'm sure it's going to be some one fucking female character. She's going to be a fucking transgender woman of color, and she's going to be better than every fucking male. Every male in this series is going to be.
What's this series supposed to be about anyway? Besides, like,
that's all. That's the only premise that's been announced. It's going to be a feminist-based series by this fucking far leftist extremist twat, and basically every man in this show is going to be perceived as a bumbling idiot. She's going to be better than them in, you know, every single way possible. Right. And, you know, she's going to be the origin of the Force. Like, the Force was made because of this empowered transgender female woman of color. And, you know, she's going to be the most powerful being to ever exist in the Star Wars universe.
I feel like it's one of those things, though, that without having to go to that level, right? Without having to make it like my entirety of, I'm making a show just solely to be able to be based on this platform. You could really just pump up the characters that are like, honestly, the female characters in Star Wars have always been strong.
Exactly.
They've always been like, Star Wars is
you don't
not
have to do this. You've already been doing it the right way up to this point.
Yeah, I think Star Wars has done a really good job of empowering their female characters.
Look at Leia in fucking episode 4 in A New Hope, in the first fucking
in
movie.
1970s fucking 7.
She didn't take any bullshit from these guys.
Nope.
When her and Han first got together, she wasn't like swooning over him. She's like, out of my way, flyboy.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah. She was the royalty. She was the legitimacy in the fucking rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was the fucking power besides the villainy, like, which was men.
Yeah.
Like, I being a white entitled fucking male, I can tell you that you look at Star Wars and you could make this argument in A New Hope that yes, Leia, this movie was about fucking Princess Leia. Yeah. And which one of these movies, like, we talk about it being about Luke as the you know, protagonist?
Yes.
But I mean, honestly, for most of it, Leia's been right there also. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I can't even find anything on the Googles to even come back to what you're talking about. And I agree with you that basically floating this balloon up there just because you feel like it needs to be up there, rather, like, you know what empowers people? Fucking backing them up, you know, push them up.
Yeah.
Don't fucking fly balloons up in the air to say like, hey, these people should be empowered. Why don't you actually get behind them and fucking do it?
Sure.
Put your ass into it and fucking and do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you feel like this is the best way to do it, and maybe it is. What the fuck do we know?
Right.
But at some point, at some point we don't need it shoved in our fucking faces.
And that's what I said. Hollywood's been trying to do this for years now, and every single time they do, it's a monumental failure. So, you know, again, best of luck.
Yeah, stop. Sometimes you just need to not.
Yeah,
just fucking don't. Somebody has to sit there with a set of fucking, you know, a twat or a set of stones, whatever you want to fucking call it, and be like, yeah, this is kind of dumb. Like, we don't need to do this.
Yeah, and
you know, we're fucking Disney. This is Star Wars. We don't have to prove anything to anybody. Go fuck yourself. You know, take your idea for this fucking thing and go fuck yourself.
Yeah. And it's not like they haven't been promoting, you know, women and diversity and everything. Look at the fucking roundtable of directors that directed the fucking Mandalorian episodes that we're going to talk about in this thing later.
Yeah. They were there because their talents put them at the same table as everyone else. Their talents, how they saw how they're through their eyes, they got to do a fucking Star Wars joint with the Mandalorian, and there was like it, and we'll get there. We'll get there. I had no idea this was even a thing, because I probably, when I skimmed over the fucking news at StarWars.com at one point, I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch that.
Yeah,
like it didn't even hit my radar because it is of the extremists. Like, my fucking radar only paints this far fucking this way. Yeah. Like, and when shit goes so far and so to the left and right, I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking fly by it.
Yeah. So that's that. Moving on. I guess we're ready to just get into our weeks, right? Because everything else that you've heard this week about casting, about fucking people joining season 2 of The Mandalorian or whatever, it's all rumor and innuendo until it's on StarWars.com. So when they say that the original actor who played the fucking clones in the prequels is in Mandalorian season 2, not official.
Yeah, I don't care how many. I don't care how many people tweet it. I don't care how many times I see it in a fucking meme or anything else. Until it hits StarWars.com, that's it.
Yeah,
they are the authority.
Yep. So that be that. Moving on to our week, I mentioned to you, this was almost a month ago now, that with our fabulous stimulus checks, thanks Trump, I bought myself a new computer.
Right.
Still not here. So I guess greatness takes time, because, you know, like I said, I got fucking top of the line shit and still waiting for it. I've loved this company. It's cyberpowerpc.com. I've bought my last, I don't know, like 5 computers from them, and it's all been great. But man, they take a long time to actually get you your fucking computer after you order it. I'm just like, God, just come in already. I just want to abuse this thing and, you know, really kind of test the limits of what it can do.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You spend all that money. You want. I think it, unfortunately, because of like the Amazon Prime society that we live in now, it's almost like we expect stuff to get here faster.
Right.
Like there's so many trucks moving around. You're just like, why isn't my shit not on that truck?
Whereas back in the day, back in like 1998, when I bought my first Gateway 2000, it probably took this long or longer for it to come in.
Fuck yeah.
But, you know, we are so spoiled at this point.
Yeah, spoiled's the right word.
Yeah.
In fact, saying that, I had procured something on eBay, and it was supposed to get here today with the mail, like in coming USPS. It fucking wasn't there.
Really?
Like, I get the post office fucking here's what's coming in your mail today thing, where it has like a scanned image of all my fucking mail.
Yep.
Like, and it said this package is going to be there. Not fucking there. Fucking, I'm mad about it. Mad because the shipper fucking sent like, hey, as soon as I paid for it, bam, out the door.
Yeah, I like sellers like that.
Yeah, fucking boom.
Be
awesome.
more like that.
Yeah, be that guy.
Yep.
And yeah, instead, I'm just fucking annoyed. Just absolutely fucking annoyed. But whatever.
Can I continue?
Now you can continue.
All right.
It's too bad truncated silence is going to take out the.
I know the awkward silence.
I should just hum through it or something.
So I'm having this weird professional crisis right now. This whole working from home thing, it's really illuminated a lot of things for me. Just, you know, how much I fucking hate my current job, and also how much I like being home. So I don't know, man. I've had a lot of different things kind of flowing through my head. I was actually looking at a job in California, looking at applying for a job out there.
Right.
Come to find out I'm not eligible. Sad face. So that that dream has ended. But yeah, I'm having this real professional crisis, and I don't know. I want to do basically anything other than what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Is what it boils down to. And the shitty thing is with, COVID and everything else, the economy is fucking just taking a dump right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't have the kind of flexibility that I would have had if this virus had not fucking happened. Right. Because I feel like, going into my retirement year next year, the fucking sky would have been the limit.
Yeah.
My options would have been fucking infinite with the career field that I'm in now, the skill set that I have. I could have stayed in the military. I could have gone civilian on a military installation, could have just gone out into the public sector, picked from numerous different areas and different types of cybersecurity jobs and whatnot. But now I'm afraid I'm not going to have any fucking options. So I don't know. This is just shit that's like in my head all fucking day, every day. It's like, what the hell am I going to do? But ultimately, I don't want to be doing what I'm doing right now.
Well,
anymore.
You're right. Think about, hey, I'm going into your retirement year, and the reason you took this career field for stability and be able to stay home more.
Yeah.
Now you're home all the time. It's like, fuck, this is kind of nice.
It is.
Here's the reality. The reality is you can't leave the military right now and make what you're making.
Oh, I totally understand.
You can't. You just can't right now. Like, even I think pre-COVID, like from the standpoint of what we get compensated for in the military, we get compensated pretty well. And to come out and get that same level, it's really, really fucking hard. So it's one of those, because we have people, I work around all these active duty people. They're like, I'm going to get out. I'm going to get out. I'm like, dude, like, you enjoy golfing, like, during daylight hours. You enjoy, like, you have all these hobbies and shit that you enjoy, and you think that you're going to get out and you're going to fucking find a job that's going to compensate you what you make, and you're going to have the freedom of movement you have.
No,
unfortunately, it's not out there.
Yeah.
So the good news, I think, for you and for anybody else who's going into this, like, this cybersecurity type domain, is that I think you have a lot of opportunities to get jobs where you can work from home.
Yes.
And you're probably better suited than most in that regard, because you're going to have an experience base, and right now we're in a sector that has a lot of growth opportunity in that area.
Yeah.
So, I think you're in a good spot. You just got to it's one of those where, as you start to it's like trying to break the sound barrier, right? You're just like, for all those years, they're like pushing their fucking domes into the sound barrier like it was this like impenetrable thing, and the next thing you know, holy fuck, I can retire.
Mm-hmm.
And you start pulling the trigger on shit like that, and it makes you, being on the other side looking back, like, you can't get this perspective until you're standing there.
Yeah.
And that's the toughest part. So all I can say is, keep your chin up, enjoy the fact that you're fucking home now.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. Again, as this COVID thing has been going on, like, I'm in a pretty damn fortunate position right now.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't be complaining about anything. But at the same time, I'm fucking sick of this. I am really just fucking sick of this life.
Well, and unfortunately, it has a lot to do with there's a lot of things that make that so unpalatable that I've talked about pretty succinctly on the pod, and I'm not going to do that today, just for your sake. But I am going to look in the chat, and I want to highlight the fact here, Jason. I think you should highlight this, that Battlefront 2 is not that bad according to IVOG.
Yeah,
and
wasn't there something in the news like how they're not supporting it anymore, or how they're starting to work on another one?
I have no idea. I do know that if we're talking about news, we'll rewind a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They released some DLC for the Fallen Order.
That's right. That was the thing that happened.
And according to our sources in Australia and elsewhere that have downloaded it and said, thank God it's free.
Yeah. It's like some additional solo content update where you get to just like redo battles on.
Yeah, and you can like choose things. Whatever. It's sorry, it had it wasn't a bad campaign to play.
No.
Honestly, you probably like because you went with a different developer for that, and you went with the developer of Titanfall, and like a lot of the gameplay and everything else is very, very similar to that gaming engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you already had Battlefront 2, where you probably could have made this a campaign in Battlefront 2 within that same thing. If you had told me, hey, you're going to get to play this character through to the end of this, and you're going to pay like, I don't know, an additional whatever, but it'll be part of your Battlefront 2 if you own it, I probably would have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the campaign in Battlefront 2 with the Jaina Twinkle Tits, whatever the fuck her name was.
Iden Berzio.
Thank you. Oh, God, I was not even close. Not even in the same fucking.
Yeah. And that's some of the, again, powerful female character, very strong, very independent. Not
the entire video game was really about her.
Not overt, not like I'm feminist, look at me. You know, fuck white men. No, nothing like that. Just a strong, solid female character who knows her place, goes through some conflict. No, that's not what I meant. Not what I meant. I'm just gonna stop talking.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I think I killed Dave.
Oh my God.
You should see how red he is right now.
Oh, thank God there was nothing in my mouth.
That's what she said.
Oh, fuck.
Anyway, that's all I'm saying is strong female character, none of the stupid bullshit on top of it.
Right. Knows her place. Gotcha.
Yep.
Oh God.
So anyway, we're just gonna keep going on with my week.
Apparently,
I have one other bullet point, and as you know, we're rolling into spring, getting into the warmer months. Allegedly, you wouldn't fucking know it this last week, but I digress. The football talk is gonna find its way into the show.
Mm-hmm.
I took a look at the schedule.
Yeah.
So early on in the season for the NFL, like weeks 3 and 4, the 49ers are coming to town. They're in like week 3, they're coming in to play the Jets at the Meadowlands.
Right.
The very next week, week 4, playing the Giants at the Meadowlands. There is no fucking way I am not going to one or both of those fucking games.
Yeah.
So who wants to go with me to the Jets and Giants games when the 49ers come to town?
Oof. I mean, buy me a pretzel, maybe I'll go.
I'll buy you a pretzel. I'll buy your ticket if you go with me.
All
Just
right.
go with me.
Yeah, I'll go up there for it's going to be way easier to get into a Jets game.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
and which, by the way, I still love Jets fans. Like Jets fans were really cool to me when I went over there and did the flag ceremony during the game and everything. So fucking, I am always.
I've been in their practice facilities and done all that stuff. Yeah, I think the Jets are actually the Jack. Jason killed me. Excuse me. A little Rona.
Yeah.
I agree. I think the Jets franchise is very likable as opposed to the New York football fuckfaces that can eat piles of dicks straight off Eli Manning's face.
Right. And I would imagine since the 49ers are going to be up here playing in the same stadium 2 weeks in a fucking row, they're not going to go home in between. They've got to stay up here.
Most likely
for that week. So I got to keep an eye out.
Hence doing it for the schedule.
Right. So I'm wondering if they're going to be doing any kind of promotional shit around here. Like if like I have a chance to go up and like get fucking autographs, meet fucking, Kittle or somebody and Garoppolo if I have to,
You want to kiss Garoppolo's ass.
I just want him to hand off a football to me. That's all.
Yeah, is that it? He's good at that.
Which, by the way,
really
I posted this video in the private Facebook group. If you guys missed it, or if you're not in the Facebook group, you need to get in there. That really got a rise out of Dave. It was basically kind of showing a comedic view of all the quarterbacks in the NFL.
Oh, fuck
and
you.
Dave got so mad. He got so angry.
What?
Even though it poked fun at my own quarterback, I thought it was hilarious. But apparently, he couldn't handle the fact that Wentz, injures his shoulder when he goes to throw a pass.
Listen, that's what I can't stand anymore is putting Wentz into this like, oh, he's always hurt category. And I just, because of the visibility of the fucking Super Bowl and the fact that he was injured, I think just makes it amplifies it for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Right.
And oh, by the way, he gets injured. He went through the entirety of fucking last year without being injured. and in the playoff game takes an illegal hit from some Seahawk fucking piece of shit.
Yes, I agree. Seahawks piece of shit.
And oh no, it's that it would not that it would have made a difference if they won the fucking game, but that's what takes him out. The illegal fucking hit. That would have taken out anybody. That's like being upset with fucking homeboy Alex Smith. We're like, well, fucking always injured. Look, like the motherfucker had his legs snapped in half by some like you have 300-pound people fucking throwing you around like a goddamn rag doll. And you expect not to fucking get hurt? Go fuck yourselves.
Did you see the trailer for that documentary about him?
No.
Holy fuck, dude. ESPN is doing this like extensive documentary about that fucking injury.
Mm-hmm.
They showed some pretty fucking graphic pictures during that. Holy shit, dude. Like,
really? I mean, I saw it like, ugh! Well, I don't know why I was watching, because I saw it when it happened.
Oh yeah, me too. Like I saw the replay and I'm like, oh dear fucking God.
Mm-hmm.
But no, man, this documentary goes into like the whole injury and this like 2-year recovery process. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm paying attention to the chat, Jason.
Oh my God. I'm trying to run a podcast here, which apparently Dave is not. So whatever, man.
This is part of the podcast.
Again, only for the YouTube audience. So that is my week. How about you?
I don't know. Let's make sure the toilet bowl can be seen. All right, there we go.
Oh, nope, not that. Is this why?
Yeah. So you should bring that up on the thing. All right, very good. My week. Well,
it's the Will Smith thing.
Yeah. My week. So I'm going to start. If you look at the notes, you'll see. I kind of brought this up a little bit earlier before the show started. But hi, everybody. So go out front. Tuesday is our trash day, right?
Okay.
And my wife is leaving for work, or was it? I don't know what was going on, but she goes outside, goes down by the trash cans, and she comes in and she's upset. And I'm like, what the fuck's happening? I'm like, you got to see this. Okay. So I go out front. There is mourning doves. You know what they look like?
Yeah.
They look like pigeons, but they go, ooh, ooh, ooh. You know, that motherfucker. So there's a mourning dove head, like the head of it, like the head.
Yeah.
Is on the ground, and a foot over from where the head is the body. Like, wow. Its head was separated from its body. Like, you could see like the brainstem coming out, like, and there's a little puddle of blood. But somehow this fucking mourning dove became headless in front of my house.
What the fuck?
And it's like, it's one of those things where, like, it immediately reminded me of fucking Dumb and Dumber.
Petey didn't even have a head.
That's right. Pets' heads are falling off. Like, that was immediately came to my mind. I'm like, you would have had to have grabbed it like this and popped the head off of it and threw it down on the ground.
So everything was intact. Like, the body wasn't eaten by like an animal?
No. What the fucking head with the body next to it. Dude, we're like, what the fuck? And my mother-in-law left for work that morning, and she's like, oh, I saw it, but I forgot about it. It's like, how the fuck do you forget about a headless goddamn... Like, all right, yeah, it's a dead bird or whatever, but the fucking head is right there next to it.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
Exactly. This is how my fucking week started, with headless fucking mourning doves out in front of my fucking house.
Like somebody's trying to send you a message or something. I don't know.
Right?
That's fucking crazy.
Right. The neighbor's reaction, the one neighbor next to us, like, we got young kids that live across the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, yeah, sometimes they get a little rambunctious. Like, I don't think he realized, like, when my wife said, hey, there's a headless bird in front of the house, like maybe they shot it with a BB gun or something. Like, you would have had to have fucking, there's no way that you can fucking shoot something to where its fucking head is going to go and land right there.
No, I don't think even a pellet gun could do that.
No. Well, no, I don't think so. I you know what? Like, what kind of shot is that you can fucking make? You can pull that shot off. It's just like, ugh. Anyway, fucking craziness, just absolute craziness. And that was like, like you talk about the weather this week. Oh, that was the kind of nice day. And I was like, shit day, like 50 fucking degrees, just awful fucking go fuck yourself weather.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, because fucking 2 weeks ago when we were having like 70, 80 degree days, I'm like, I'll fucking turn off the house heat. Don't need this anymore.
Yep.
Then this fucking
Lies.
cold front rolls through, and I'm like, it's like laying outside in the fucking snow. It's so goddamn cold in my house.
Dude,
I'm like, what the fuck?
In our office last week, at one point, because the fucking thermostat in our office doesn't work anyway, but like it was so warm outside that it was 100 Helmet Fire, friend of the podcast, Helmet Fire. His office was 100 degrees.
Holy shit.
In his office. The scheduling area and training area where I sit now was 96 fucking degrees.
Dear
96.
God.
I was in there today. It was fucking 50. Like, and
Jesus.
just to tell you, like those that don't live in Jersey, I know people dealing with heat waves and shit like that. Like Jersey's weather is so schizophrenic right now.
Mhm.
Today alone. Well, let's see. Saturday, like, so it was all about doing chores, right? Schoolwork and chores and working on stuff for the house and doing all this fucking shit, right? But the weather has been like, oh, let's be 70 fucking degrees, then go down into the fucking 30s when everyone, New Englanders and shit were getting snow, and then fucking come back. Oh, it's going to be a little bit nicer. And then, oh, it's fucking going to be windy and a high of 42. Today, driving back from the base, I encountered no less than five temperature changes where it went from like the mid 60s to the fucking 40s to the 50s back to the fucking 60s and like just fucking insane. This is what global warming is. It's not about everything getting warm all the time. It's about having unreasonably cold temperatures.
Yeah.
Unseasonable temperatures.
Yeah. Now this shit is a little bit normal for April.
No, it's
but not for fucking mid-May.
Dude, on Sunday, which was a nice day, right? The high was 62.
Yeah.
The normal high for like right around Mother's Day is fucking 73. Like, but by the end of this week, it'll be in the 80s again, and we'll feel like we're dying because it's so fucking hot. When really, it's just about where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. When just a week ago we had a high of fucking 44 or whatever. So
hey, Lunar Girl, just to let you know, you need to rewind in the podcast because I said something really, really like pleasant about Eli Manning, and I think you'll enjoy it.
You're right. So anyway, anything else for your week?
I brought toys.
Ooh.
So
besides the Motrin?
So these aren't new.
These are Black Series figures though.
These were on. These. Yeah, Jason hasn't opened his, so he doesn't get to play with them. So I had
shit. All right, so I'm for the audio listeners, I'm holding a Black Series straight up regular Stormtrooper, which is fucking beautiful, and the Mandalorian. This is pre-Beskar Mandalorian. Oh, and a Boba Fett. Oh god.
And he spent.
Oh.
And their weapons and shit.
I need a nap now.
So
fucking beautiful. These Black Series figures, I tell you what, man.
They are gorgeous. They are really gorgeous.
Fucking
and there's
hell.
been some releases, and Big Swede, if you follow him on Instagram, he's been posting he had pre-ordered the child and got a bunch of his other toys in. So you can follow that. But they're very, very well made toys. And the shame of it is, if I had these when I was a kid, they would have been melted and probably had fucking put firecrackers. Like I was the Sid of toys. Like, let me see.
Would you have done that to Star Wars toys like this though?
I mean, probably not.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe's. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I put those guys through the ringer.
Yeah. G.I. Joe's, He-Man, fucking Matchbox cars. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I think I spent probably a solid weekend seeing how high I could launch fucking Matchbox cars at one point.
Yeah. So, but I mean, things like this, these Star Wars toys, these fucking Black Series figures. Oh my God. This is.
Yeah. These are not meant for children. Honestly, they're meant for us.
Yeah.
And I figured I'd bring them in so you can enjoy them. You can get your little dick beaters all over them.
Dude, this is.
And because you get to stare at them while we're in the studio and they're not in there.
I know, like all of mine are still in the packages,
Yep.
as you can see on the YouTube.
Yep.
I want to open them so bad,
See,
but I won't.
now you can get to play with some. And I what I had to do, I had to downsize my my the one Star Wars area that I had.
Your one little shelf. That
Yeah,
you,
well,
that you're allowed to
it's
have.
like a end thing, and I have some airplane stuff on there now. And with obviously, there's TIE fighters are still prevalent in a lot of that shit. But so yeah, I had I figured I'd bring them in to here. And I mean, the other thing, we didn't really talk about this.
Kristen, if you ever want to get me a gift, if you're ever not sure what to get me for a gift, just get me Black Series figures. That's all you need to do. Black Series figures, preferably extras that I can open. But yeah, so that's all you ever need to buy me ever for the rest of our lives.
She's gonna hold you to that. She has it on recording,
and that's perfectly fine.
The probe droid that's out right now, that a Black Series figure probe droid looks fucking fantastic.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
So I'm putting out some pops there. So I don't know if we actually talked about it last week, but I dropped off a bunch of Star Wars stuff in the consolidation of my one Star Wars area.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking texts to add to the
sacred texts, and
some pops that I had on shelves that, I just didn't have room for.
What?
This one's probably going to go to work with me. Honestly.
That one's not in the Sacred Jedi pops.
No,
I didn't realize.
There's probably a couple doubles, like with some of the
sweet Jesus,
because there's TIE pilots and
Dave loves his pops. He's got to have his pops.
I do. And this is we both have this one.
Yes.
So
yeah, Chris, that's the only pop figure that I own of anything.
Right.
Is the First Order Stormtrooper. Kristen got that for me for Christmas in 2015.
Yeah.
Christmas of 2015.
So, and honestly, the way I have my stuff set up right now, it doesn't fit, but it might as well live with the rest of the collection.
Fucking right.
I'm slowly bringing pops back into my, with my allowance. I have other stuff that I'm trying to buy, and there's a couple that
they can't see it on the YouTube.
Oh, you can't?
Yeah, Isaac or Scott.
Well, here, let me fix that right now. We've got this guy, which Jason. This is one we're just talking about that Jason already has.
Yep.
The lone pop that he owns.
Yep.
Then we've got a TIE fighter pilot of the First Order ilk, number 89, not to be confused with TIE fighter pilot number 90. Who has red stripes on him. And then we have a classic Stormtrooper, numero cuatro. Mm-hmm. No, cuatro cinco. Cinco. Cinco, cinco, cinco. 3PO. And then the 221, it's got the 40th anniversary Star Wars TIE pilot in a TIE fighter. There you go. Awesome. I have a feeling I'm going to take this one with me though to put it on my desk at work. But yeah, that's some of the stuff. Like the rest of this is all the fucking sacred texts,
right?
But yeah, so some toys,
nice.
And we'll start. I'm gonna slowly start getting a couple pops.
Yeah, I need to actually start getting back into
Black Series.
Some more Black Series figures.
Well,
though we have no fucking room to display them.
We have no fucking room. Okay, see, here's the thing: if we start doing the split screen deal, like we're even losing even less fucking real estate. So honestly, this isn't for them. This is for us.
That is true.
So we could feasibly start fucking shelving them over here.
Like, every fucking square inch of this fucking wall in this room could be
and it would absorb some sound too.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Though I think we're actually we're really good.
We are good
as far as like sound absorption and everything.
I would agree. But anyway, that's all I got.
All right, cool. So before we get into our main topics, I think we definitely need to take a break.
We do.
And be right back after this word from our sponsors.
It's a dynamite taste.
Oh yeah.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I gotta go.
I'll drink some more then. I'm having some rum and coke tonight. A little Takamaka. Where'd it go? Okay. Some Takamaka. Rum from the Seychelles. This is my last bottle, by the way. Oh god, this stuff is so good. Once it hits your lips. Yeah, man. when I was a flyer, I used to get this stuff all the time. You know, once or so a year, I'd get a handful of bottles. But now that I don't fly anymore, I have to rely on some of my contacts in my previous squadron. And as of right now, that's it. In fact, I should reach out to her. Be like, hey, still got any of that rum? Seeing it live, folks.
Heads are falling off. What, Takamaka?
Yep. Texting Steph. Curious if she's got any more
fat ass
of her previous stats.
Big Sweet's got 10 pops on pre-order right now. Like, motherfucker, you're not allowed to get more pops until like I can get to see some of them physically. Like, this is kind of bullshit. It's a huge tease, honestly. Like, shouldn't you be buying gun shit right now? Why don't you leave? I'll tell you what, why don't you buy the pops and then like have some sort of raffle so that I can win them off of you? How about that? We can do that. I have good success for winning raffles for pops. Oh, fuck. Is toilet bowl in the thing? It's not. You know what? I should put it. That's not going to work. Hang on. Put this. There we go. See if he notices. Oh, God. I got all these guys at home, too. Oh, nice. Great shot of my phone. There. Don't tell him. Let's see if he notices. No 3 hours. We're not. No 3 hours. I have a Zoom at 8 o'clock that I haven't set up yet. I really need to do that.
Yeah, 6:30. Plenty of time.
Right. Well, Ivo is asking if we're going to go 3 hours again. He's drunk already. I really need to get good and ripped so that I can because writing papers while you're inebriated is actually, it comes much faster.
Yeah?
Yeah.
your brain's just vomiting onto the paper?
Yeah, because I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking less and writing more as opposed to when I'm trying to do it the other way.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. Well, we're doing 30 seconds silence. I'm going to...
Are we doing 30 seconds silence?
Yeah, we're coming off a break.
Oh, okay.
You always do 30 seconds silence coming off the break.
I know. Just seeing if you're paying attention. That's
right. The unfortunate part is I don't have enough alcohol here to get as drunk as you're going to get off of that Takamaka.
No comment. No comment.
I know how that stuff works, man. I too used to imbibe of the Takamaka.
It's good shit.
It is indeed. No. Cancel. The fuck. End meeting for all. Jesus Christ, Dave. Zoom. I am glad that there's platforms where we can do all this. Before we go back on, do you remember like when VTCing was like this? Holy shit! Wow, look at what they're doing! Like they're video teleconferencing across all these different places. Like when we were doing it in the airplane.
Oh yeah.
Like when that shit was happening. Like wow, look at this. Now I was in a Zoom meeting with almost 100 people the other day.
I saw that. The picture you posted on Facebook the other
93 day? Of us were in that fucking Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fucking hell. And it was there was people that had some audio issues and it kept breaking into the presenters, but for the most part, pretty fucking seamless. It really, like, the technology is out there for shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can very easily work from home.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Wondering whether or not you're going to call a snow day should never be a fucking thing anymore. Be like, hey, we're still gonna have our normal 2 o'clock, but we're gonna do it via Zoom because of the incoming snow. Cool.
And honestly, I think that this COVID thing has really kind of pushed the Air Force to kind of get their shit together because, you know, when this first started, the desktop anywhere, very unreliable at the start.
Oh God,
it's been really reliable for the last couple of weeks for me. And
who turned you on that?
That would be you. You gave me the instructions, which I then gave to my squadron, and I was a goddamn hero, by the way. So nobody knew about it until I fucking showed it to them. So yes, you get all the credit for that. But either way,
excellent.
You know, you can do fucking everything from that, almost everything. If it wasn't for my fucking email being stupid. My email is doing this fucking thing now where it's asking for your PIN like every 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that, then I'd be 100% functional right now.
Yep.
Like in a remote status.
It is cool. However, when you're at home and you're basically doing 4 different jobs, and all of them decide that, hey, we all want to telework and do shit, it's annoying. But whatever. School's almost over. Once school's done, I'll have.
All right, I'm assuming that's Scott that just texted me.
Scott!
He would like a spot in episode 150.
Okay.
Go Niners. And have a great show.
Stop it. Stop it, Scott.
No, you stop it.
Stop it.
Don't listen to him.
I know what you're doing.
All I know is I saw Wentz signing autographs the other day, and like he got injured. So I think he's out for the season.
I will punch you square in the dick. Like on camera, so everyone can watch you collapse like a sack of fucking hammers.
I mean, it's no better than or no worse than you pulling a fucking knife on me live on the fucking podcast. What episode was that? Like,
I don't know.
the episode where he pulled the fucking knife on me mid-show. Like that's a classic moment in the All Things Star Wars podcast.
I forget.
Like,
honestly.
I really was expecting him to fucking grab me and cut that shirt off of my fucking chest.
Oh, God.
I think that was when I was home visiting. Like, I was down in Mississippi and I was at home visiting in between Mississippi and Texas. And I was wearing the fucking tank top. You were seriously ready to fucking cut it off me.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
Anyway, should we do 30 seconds?
Yes, we should do that. Get back to it.
Before I pull a knife on you?
Yes. All right. 30 seconds of silence starting now. And we're back. So, got a lot to talk about today. A lot of stuff that you can watch on Disney Plus. So, if you haven't seen the Disney Gallery Mandalorian specials, and then of course Rebels Season 2 finale, you might want to go back and rewatch those before you listen to the rest of this show. But yeah. Getting into this Mandalorian gallery. So
that's Jason basically saying spoiler alert if you haven't watched it already.
Right. But the Mandalorian Disney gallery, I thought this first episode of this, which I think it's going to be 8 episodes. Am I right? Eight
so.
Episodes every Friday.
That's right. They'll correct us in the chat.
Right. As they always do. They keep us honest. But the first one was a focus on the directors. These 6, I want to say, directors, the people that were directly involved with the creation, starting with, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, Bryce Dallas Howard, Taika Waititi, and then the other guy whose name I can't fucking remember. It's not a name that flows off the tongue. The big African-American gentleman. What the hell is his name? I don't remember, but it's like a round table with all 6 of these folks, and they're kind of like they're talking about their experience with Star Wars, or how they got into fucking directing. You get a lot of background on Dave Filoni that I didn't know leading into this. The fact that he was a fucking animator on King of the Hill when he first started his fucking career.
Well, that's how you start. You start in the finest animated series of 4 of the finest gentlemen ever to exist in Arlen, Texas, and of course, that's where you start your Star Wars career. And I haven't seen this Star Wars movie, but I hear good things.
Yeah, so
I hear they talk a lot about gas. It's not propane, but there's like Tibiana gas, and they use that to power things. So I'm sure all that is just good stuff.
yeah. So yeah, we get a lot of background in some of these people, like how they were introduced to either Star Wars. We get a lot into how they got into filmmaking and everything else. Really, really good roundtable with these guys, and it kind of talked about their individual episodes and what they brought to the table. Fucking, I don't know, man. Like, I really, really enjoyed this first episode of this behind the scenes.
Right.
And getting to know some of these people, like the Taika Waititi, who, like, I didn't know him from fucking anything before
Waikiki. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. I mean, finding out now that he directed Thor Ragnarok makes sense, but I didn't know anything else that he had done. He's done a lot of shit that I haven't seen, or the Flight of the Conchords connection that I just didn't know about. They get into a lot of his background, a lot of how he's a real fun, very comedic guy. Apparently he started off his career doing like fucking stand-up and shit. So are you
go ahead? I'm interacting with the chat.
Okay.
Shout out to our Alaskan contingent with Patreon supporter.
Yes, Frederick Martin. Hello. And then we get into like Bryce Dallas Howard, and she starts telling stories about how her fucking dad, Ron Howard, would fucking take her to meetings and to a lot of the productions he was working on when she was like 5 years old. So that's how she
sleeping on her father's chest as they were fucking talking about like the intimate details of Star Wars.
Right.
Just talk about growing up in it.
Yeah. She's the one, because we've talked about before the Ron Howard connection with George Lucas and all of the ties that they have, and Ron's since directed a Star Wars movie-ish.
Hey,
no, I'm just saying,
he did good for what he was left.
Yeah, no, and we go back and listen to our Solo review, which, by the way, I think at some point soon, within the next, 6 months, we need to have a look back at Solo.
When will then be now?
Soon. No, but seriously, I think we need to. There were 2 books that were tied into Solo, right? The one with him and Lando that was kind of jumping back and forth between different time frames, and then one that was like a prequel book, and then the fucking movie itself. Like, we need to go back and we need to kind of what do you call it? Do like a
expose?
No, just like a look back, like, all right, this has had time to gestate. Let's go back and kind of look at it again and see if it is what we thought it was, to quote Dennis Green.
Yeah. They are who we thought they were.
Right.
So real quick, we're getting some interaction with the fans that Jason's camera was frozen. And it's working now.
My camera, which is tied to Dave's laptop, which is...
Why was mine frozen, though? Like, I'm looking at it right here, and it wasn't. Like, this should be...
No, but you said... It says Jason's camera is frozen, which means the camera that's pointing at me,
right,
that's connected to your laptop. Okay. Because we have the cross thing going right now.
Yeah. But everything looked normal here.
Oh. That I have no idea.
Anyway, everything's good now? All right.
Jesus Christ.
It's like they're helping us out. Like, we're trying to. I sometimes forget that this is a podcast and that some of my diatribe that is solely meant for the YouTube audience probably doesn't mean anything to the fucking podcast audience. And for that, I apologize.
Yes.
Sidebar.
Yes.
For the podcast audience, for those who still fucking download us and support us on the podcast, we thank you. Truncated silence makes me sound like I'm talking like a fucking Texas auctioneer. Like I was listening to it and I had to check several times because I, generally speaking, I don't listen to the podcast. I don't need to. I was there, right?
Right.
So I don't look back, darling. It takes away from the now, right? But I happen to be listening to it, and I'm listening to it, and I'm talking like this, and it's like everything is said. So there's pauses that I take when I'm talking to deliberately slow myself down. Totally out the window. So then it just sounds like I must be breathing through some sort of apparatus because I'm not taking a breath.
Right.
Because I'm talking like that. That doesn't happen to you when you're talking for some reason.
Well, I think I'm kind of a slow talker anyway.
Is that what it is?
I talk slower. I think I have a more just rhythmic pace to everything that I say. I have just natural pauses anyway between words and sentences.
Apparently, I do not. Apparently, my ADHD basically vomits my stream of consciousness as fast as the maximum velocity it can.
Yeah.
And I deliberately, in the podcast, I deliberately slow it down, trying not to say like the you knows and the likes and everything else. Because when I listen back to that, I hear that a lot. But so I try and eliminate that. At the same time, I try and put like a little pause in there between my thoughts so that it doesn't sound like I'm fucking on speed.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I listen to the podcast, I'm on fucking speed.
Right.
I mean, that's so for all of you out there, I'm not on amphetamines or anything like that. Truncated silence does that little behind the curtain, as it were, for the podcast.
And Isaac just wanted to point out how fine I truly am. So thank you, Isaac. So anything else though on this Disney gallery? This is something that I think we can't really review it here on a podcast. This is something that you really have to watch and experience as a Star Wars fan, because you get a real feel for each of these individual people's fandom and where they came in. They get into a lot of stories about, oh God, my dad took me to see the original movie. I think that was Favreau who mentioned, his dad took him to the movie premiere in 1977 when he was like 11 years old. And, even Dave Filoni, he gets into like the Filoni stuff I thought was really the most telling. Yeah.
Big Swede had, when he had told me it was out, he had asked me if I'd seen it yet. He's like, the Filoni stuff is going to blow you away.
Yeah.
And it was true. Like seeing his origin and his background. And because he's one of those guys now, like with Clone Wars and with his involvement in Mandalorian, he's a staple guy, like Filoni for president, right?
Oh yeah.
Like at the end of that, you're like, holy fuck, dude. Like his pedigree and how he came into this has just been solely based on his fandom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, he had a portfolio, but his portfolio really didn't have much to do with Star Wars.
No, again, like we said, King of the Hill, Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Yeah, working for Nickelodeon and working for, doing Fox shit.
Yeah.
And getting in a room with a bunch of people and like, hey, you're recommending me for a job that I don't have the prereqs for.
Right.
And he fucking gets in there and he lets his fandom be his guide for what for the content. And again, listen, we spent a lot of time shitting on a lot of Clone Wars episodes, right? There's 133 Clone Wars episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, I mean, for our money from a podcast perspective and being late to the show, probably 24 episodes that were like must-see TV.
Yeah.
Like at least. There's probably more, but at least. Especially the last fucking 4. Holy fuck, man.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the last 4 episodes of fucking Clone Wars.
Yeah, but then you see his growth too with Rebels, because he was the showrunner for Rebels also. Mm-hmm. And a majority of those episodes were good shit. So, I mean, he grew and he learned under George.
Yeah.
And that was the big thing. And he stressed that in this. He's like, George would tell me when I would veer too far off in one direction, he'd be like, no, that's not the way it would really happen. This is the way the Jedi would respond. This is the way they would react.
Real quick. If you haven't seen it, like stop if you want to get this all fucking, first person, but there's that part where Filoni's talking about how he's doing the interview with George and he asks like a question is asked and George just goes into this fucking half hour, 40 minutes of describing like how the Jedi would react to this thing. Mm-hmm. And Filoni's sitting there going like, I'm not going to get this job, but I can. No one. I'll be at some fucking Comic-Con, and nobody around is going to be able to say that they fucking got this level of detail from George Lucas himself, like being in his fucking office, like that. And that's how Filoni was. He's like, I'll be at the next fucking Comic-Con standing in line for something, and they're going to have a cool story. Well, guess what? I'm going to beat all of you fuckers.
Yeah. I did an interview with George Lucas for this TV show.
He told me a bunch of stuff that I really probably should have been paying more attention to, and great stuff.
But that's probably why George picked him too, because he probably picked up on that fandom that he had, and those are the people that are making the best Star Wars movies or shows or whatever, are the people who grew up as fans of this. JJ, huge fucking fan of Star Wars. That's why you get all this fucking fan service in Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker, because he was a big fan, so
anyway, if you don't have Disney Plus, you're not going to be able to see this, I don't think, but
no,
look for it on YouTube. It's probably pirated somewhere, but see it. It's been, the first episode is really, really good from the director's perspective. Bryce Howard is so fucking cute.
Yeah. Did she have a baby recently?
I think she was pregnant while she was doing
what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Because she looked good.
Yeah.
She had a glow.
Yeah.
She had a glow.
She did.
She had a glow. Man. Anyway.
Yeah. Wouldn't kick it out of bed, pregnant or not, but regardless.
She knows her place.
The words of Dave Martin do not reflect the opinions of Jason Roscoe.
We need to rewind to fucking minute. I made sure I put it in the chat so we could fucking mark when exactly that was. It was before Lunar Girl came on, and yeah, I'll figure it out. But anyway, go ahead.
No, that's it for the Disney Gallery.
Watch it.
There's 2 episodes out right now. The next episode should be out on Friday. The first episode is talking strictly about the directors.
Right.
The second episode is about the legacy of Star Wars. Good shit. Like, they really get into, the history of Star Wars and, how each person tied into it. They get in a lot more into with the actors. Mm-hmm. They talk to Carl Weathers quite a bit in that one. And he's, Rocky was already a thing. Rocky was a phenomenon in 76, I think. Star Wars came out in 77. So, fucking Apollo Creed was already all over the fucking place by the time Star Wars came out. So, he's sitting there like having this backstage interview. He's like, yeah, man, I didn't, that wasn't really where my focus was at this time, because at this point he was already just well known for being fucking Apollo Creed and everything else. So it wasn't until much later on in life where he discovered Star Wars and realized how important it was and everything else. So, it was neat to see that perspective. Because, Carl Weathers was in this, he was in a major franchise at the same time, basically.
Right.
So,
yeah. And there was parts of it too, like, in the first one when they were showing how the guy whose name you can't remember was directing Bill Burr.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's the episode he directed.
Yeah. So anyway, good stuff. Let's get to the main topic.
Yes. So hold on, I just got to show off the text really quick.
Oh, yeah? Need more ice?
Yes, actually.
Oh.
It's all right. Truncate silence will take all of that out. Mm-hmm. So now, moving on to the real main topic this week. I got this idea, and Dave was thinking along the same lines, after we saw that last episode of the Clone Wars, with especially that scene where Vader comes up. Ahsoka has already made her fake grave, right? She's put her fucking lightsaber down in that fucking clone graveyard. Vader comes up afterwards, picks up the fucking lightsaber. You have that real moment there where you don't really know what's going through Vader's head, but you probably have a good idea. Right? Because there's still some Anakin in there. And they made it very clear at the end of Clone Wars that he still had this connection with Ahsoka. Like, up to the point where I think it was episode 9 where they kind of said their final goodbyes, right? Where Anakin and Obi-Wan were leaving, like, fuck, we got to go rescue the Chancellor. They're attacking Coruscant. They had this moment. It was very intentional where Ahsoka and Anakin kind of looked at each other and just kind of, basically said their final goodbyes, kind of maybe subconsciously knowing that this was the last time they were going to talk. So you get that moment then where Vader finds her lightsaber, picks it up. looks at it, blank stare, ignites it. And then you see that fucking bird flying off in the distance, which I didn't really think too much of it at the time. But looking back at this Twilight of the Apprentice episode, I think there's got to be some symbolism there or some sort of relationship there with the bird that you see at the end of Clone Wars that you see Vader looking at as he's picking up Ahsoka's lightsaber, and then this little fucking whatever it is, it's sort of like a semi-owl kind of bird-like creature at the end of this Twilight of the Apprentice episode. As spoiler alert, as Vader's fucking limping out from his battle with Ahsoka,
right?
You see this thing flying. So anyway,
if you want some detail on that, on the bird, now this is according to denofgeek.com,
which that's fairly legit.
Yeah.
Like they're in tune with a lot of geek.
So the
culture
bird
and
circling
news.
over Vader in the final scene is a creature who is said to watch over Ahsoka her whole life. Her name is Morai, M-O-R-A-I, a convor who connects back to the Clone Wars Mortis arc.
Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah. So thank you.
You're able to see it, right?
See what?
Your toilet bowl.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you're good? All right, good. That's
So
what I mean.
I saw you move it, but yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. What was I talking about?
You were talking about the bird.
Yes, the bird. So we see the bird. Anyway, it gave us the idea. Let's go back and look at this Twilight of the Apprentice episode in fucking Rebels, because this is the one where you get not only Ahsoka, but you also get Maul as part of all of this. Now, I don't know if you watched both episodes, because it was a two-parter that closed up season 2 of Rebels.
Yeah.
But, it started off with them looking for the secrets of the Sith, Ezra, Kanan, and Ahsoka. They landed on the planet. I don't even remember what the planet was. It's irrelevant at this point. But
fuck. Begins with M.
Yeah, they'll help us in the chat. Mortis,
yeah.
So anyway,
Is it?
Well, that's what.
No, it's
the
not
daughter
Mortis.
is in Mortis.
Yeah, it's not Mortis. Fuck.
Oh, the
It's
Mortis
not-
is that story arc that we saw where Anakin and Obi-Wan landed on the planet. It was the dad and the 2 kids.
It's not Moraband.
No, Moraband is the renamed Korriban, which I'll always call it Korriban, because that's what it is in the Old Republic and everything else.
Anyway, go ahead.
But I digress. So yeah, they land on this fucking other Sith planet that's not Exegol. It's got a fucking Sith temple and everything else. And Ezra comes across fucking Darth Maul, right? And he's pretending to be this fucking, oh, hey, Sonny, can you help an old man up the stairs? But right away it's fucking Maul. And while they're there, the fucking Inquisitors are there. I know you had some unkind things to say about the Inquisitors in these episodes.
Malachor, thank you, Isaac. Malachor.
Yeah, but honestly, like, these 2 episodes, fucking phenomenal. Going back and watching them, it's Ezra comes across Maul. Maul kind of joins Ezra, Kanan, Ahsoka to fight these 3 fucking Inquisitors that are on this planet. As they're all looking for this fucking holocron. Come to find out, big fucking weapon or whatever.
Well, rewind, because the one Inquisitor, so they're tracking down to get to this planet, right?
Right.
Ahsoka and basically going to get to Malachor, and you come to find out that there's an Inquisitor that's there.
Yeah.
Like, this is the ship that they pick up that's in the same airspace. They're like, well, fuck, who the hell is this person?
Yeah.
Turns out to be an Inquisitor who's there looking for Maul.
Right, exactly. Which you kind of get the hints of that. You don't really find out until later that that's what they're really there for.
Right.
But yeah, they're looking for Maul, because what are the Inquisitors doing? They're trying to basically eliminate all other Force users.
Now, I don't know about you, but for me, because it's been so long since I've seen this Rebels episode, like, I forgot that that's how Maul got introduced into this.
Oh yeah, me too.
I remember that Maul like got into like this part where he was turning Ezra, but like the whole like creepy guy in the dark thing, I didn't. I forgot about that part of it.
Trust me, dude. I was thinking the exact same thing, to the point where I'm like, fuck, I got to go back and rewatch this whole fucking series at this point, like all of Rebels. But Yeah, like I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, oh right, that's why they were there, and that's why this happened. And yeah, it was. Sorry, I'm distracted by your chat
Typing?
typing. Yeah.
This is. I'm just typing that I missed an opportunity with the bird. The bird is the word. No, not the finger goose.
Oh,
No, bird.
okay.
From the Family Guy. Brian, no. Everybody said about the bird. Bird is the word.
Gotcha.
Bird. God damn, dude. Tekamaka slows Jason's fucking cognitive ability to a like maple syrup crawl.
Yeah.
It really does. You can see the hamsters fucking gassing out in the fucking wheel on his dome. That's we're talking.
Yes. It doesn't help that I actually didn't take notes on any of these. I just watched it and just kind of absorbed these episodes because
it works for me. That's how I do it every fucking week.
Right.
And my brain is fucking pudding. So, yeah, look, the big takeaways like for this when we're talking about the reason that we want to get to this point is because of the interaction between Ahsoka and Vader. So
almost that's what we're building
that
to.
First part, like go back and watch Rebels. It's like a huge fucking deal because I remember when this originally came out with Kanan being blind and like the Hera.
Right, I forgot that happened.
Yeah, I forgot that's why it happened
because of Maul.
Yeah. So and the fucking you know what keyed me off to that is the statues that were on the fucking pyramid that were like. You know, where he got the mask from, like, and they're like leaned down, and then he's actually like, after he gets hurt, he's leaned in the same position as the statue. And I'm looking, I'm like, this is how it happens. Like, it kind of hit me like that. I didn't like, I was driving, so I'm like, this is how it happens.
He's watching as he's driving.
Yeah,
but
no, or allegedly, but
right.
Yeah, so we could fast forward through all that. The Inquisitors went out like bitches. I mean, Maul was obviously superior to them in his ability to use the dark side because we know the Inquisitors are not like they're not even at a dark Jedi level.
No, they've shown some sort of ability to use the Force.
They have,
and Vader like basically used them to be his pseudo assassins.
Yeah, they're puppets,
right? But like, how cool was it when it's the end of the first
I was going to say,
episode,
don't you dare say it was cool that they fucking spin their lightsabers like fucking helicopters.
I actually like that.
Fuck that noise. Like, there's no, like, just stop it. Stop it. Like, oh, we're going to spin our lightsabers and fly around.
Like Mary Poppins. No, but how cool was it at the end of the first episode, beginning of the second, where you get this fucking battle where it's the three Inquisitors versus fucking Ezra, Kanan, Ahsoka, and Maul. All at the fucking same time.
Yep.
Like, oh god, this is what I want. This is what I've wanted to see as far as like a cinematic Star Wars ever since I heard about the Clone Wars and the Old Republic and all of that shit.
And we had a conversation about this before the show, but Scott, before the show started, we had a conversation about this, and it was like I immediately just wished that they would remake this with the same level of action involvement that they did with the completion of the Clone Wars.
Right.
Because could you imagine if they fucking put the fucking, the balls on Maul again, and then like, put all the motion capture shit on these actors and have them fight it out like they did with the final sequence in the Clone Wars with Ahsoka and Maul.
Yeah.
Like, do that with the Inquisitors and Vader and Ahsoka. Like, that fight with Vader and Ahsoka with the mocap and everything else. Holy fucking shit.
That would have been
it'd be that Randy fucking, where he's fucking splooged everywhere. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like the lightsaber battles and the action, like nothing tops these episodes, quite frankly. Like, this was everything that I want to see in a Star Wars show, movie, whatever.
Yeah. And this was season 2 of Rebels.
Yeah.
This was season 2 of Rebels. And this is why, like, why are we watching Rebels and, not watching? Because Rebels, pound for pound, had more impact to it with the show. It just did.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like it was being in a ring against Leonard Spinks versus being in a ring against, you know, somebody else. I pick insert boxer's name here. But I really feel like watching those Rebels episodes, and there some of the, like, I forgot how annoying Ezra can be. Like in his, like, I'm rebelling against you, dude. And like, oh, I'm being a fake father figure, dude. And like going back and forth like that. It's, you know, Little Joe and fucking, what'd you call him?
Squiggly Joe and Billy.
Yeah, Billy and Squiggly Joe. Whatever.
But it wasn't that bad.
But yeah, it really
wasn't like fucking Padme, like, I have to introduce this bill to the Senate to stop the war.
I had a boyfriend back in the day, and we're gonna go over there and embarrass him. And
yeah, it wasn't like that level of bad that the Clone Wars got down to. So
we were 13, and we were both members of the Senate committee.
So really, though, the whole reason for this was, as you alluded to, the confrontation between Ahsoka and Vader, right?
Yep.
Kind of bringing that thing full circle after we saw what happened with them at the end of Clone Wars.
Right.
We didn't really get that closure in Clone Wars.
No.
You know, aside from Vader picking up her fucking old lightsaber, but this was kind of the closure between these two characters.
Well, I think one of the big things, like before we even start talking about that scene, is now that it exists, now that Clone Wars Season 7 exists and it's closed, and now the book on Ahsoka Tano basically is closed, like round robin, Quentin Tarantino style, right? Because, you know, not in this non-time linear, how you doing? But now you can sit down and watch the Clone Wars and get to a point where it's like, when you start Rebels, there's nothing like, well, what about this? Like, how did this get to that? It kind of, they did a good job of meeting somewhere. Like, all right, we didn't have this thing written, we didn't have this part of the story written, but Ahsoka's going to come back in Rebels.
Yeah.
We didn't really know what happened between then and then. And now we have that. Now we have that closure point where watching this episode, like if you start Rebels and start watching and get to this point where like, fuck, that whole bit with Ahsoka standing there over the fucking graves of all the clones, you know, and Anakin getting there, and now he's facing down Anakin, and like it made me wonder when I watched it today, like how different this would have been if Filoni wasn't involved in Rebels.
Oh god.
Because this had to have been part of Filoni's, like, you had to have some idea like this was part of the vision, right?
Right, because like, I think he even mentioned, going back to the Disney Gallery, I think he mentioned that Ahsoka was his first creation when he came on to
Clone
Wars. Maybe it wasn't in that. Maybe it was in like an interview I saw with him. But either way, Ahsoka was like the first character he created when he came to work for fucking Lucasfilm. So obviously, yeah, him, you know, being the catalyst for all this, like I couldn't imagine if he wasn't involved in that, you know. No. It's only fitting that he was. And yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Tarantino thing too, because we saw the end before we saw the middle when it comes to, you know, the Ahsoka Anakin story. But fuck, man, going back now and watching this confrontation. First of all, it's like fucking Ezra. He's got this fucking Sith holocron. He's like, Kanan, we got to do this. And then boom, Vader comes up. Standing.
Vader riding like a fucking boss, riding a TIE Advance on top of the motherfucker.
What
like,
a fucking shot.
Like, not even like, oh, I'm going to roll in with guns blazing. Like, no, motherfucker. I'm going to make an entrance. Ready? Cue the fog machine. Get the fucking laser light show, and have the fucking TIE Advance flying with him on top of it with the lightsaber ignited.
Yeah,
fucking hell! I get goosebumps. I get goosebumps. It was so cool. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, it was great. And you know, Vader basically just punking out fucking Ezra. Ezra like clearly knows he's way outmatched in this.
Yeah. Well, then she's like, I'm not afraid of you. Like, well, then you'll die braver than most.
Right. Exactly.
What I thought was really. I think that's a line out of a samurai movie, actually.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
I want to say. But,
well, and that's where George got a lot of the influence for Star Wars.
So oh, fuck. I lost my train of thought. There was, you get, for me, it's Ezra. Well, okay. I remember now. The Star Wars, like what Star Wars does really well, and it's subtle, but it's obvious. the level of ability in Jedi when they're having a lightsaber battle. Like, so in New Hope, you see basically it's not as you have one hand fighting style, like up against a guy who's fucking wailing on him with a fucking baseball bat with two hands, right? When you see Luke and Vader battle, you get all these lightsaber battles where if they're evenly matched, you can tell. Like if there's one that's obviously better than the other, you can tell.
Yeah, even in the progression of the original trilogy, like you said, like you talk about Empire.
Yep.
It's Luke's just fucking flailing around, and Vader's just one handed. He's just kind of like beating
Luke,
back.
Luke is like, oh God, fucking John Williams, you absolute fucking god of a man. Like the parts of the fucking like in Empire when Luke's like he's got the fucking and he's fucking and he's like slow and then
and the whole time. Vader is, for the most part, at least until the very end, Vader is giving minimal effort. He's going one-handed. He's just, kind of pushing Luke back. Yeah. Just he's playing with him. He's like he could have killed Luke at any point. During that, but he didn't.
He was playing with his food.
But then you watch the progression, and then towards the end of Return of the Jedi, when Luke just fucking, goes Super Saiyan and just starts wailing on Vader, that's when you see the progression and the tables have turned.
Speaking of color, like you mentioned cyan, right? Did you notice that when Ahsoka clashed lightsabers with Vader, that it was like a green.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, so if you watch the lightsaber battle, and when Vader's red lightsaber strikes Ahsoka's yellow lightsabers, it creates this like green element there. And it's, to me, it was kind of, they put it in there obviously like,
oh, I totally missed that.
There was like this, it wasn't blue, it wasn't like the normal like flash of light, it was like this green that came out of it. And to me, it immediately made me thought of fucking Luke's lightsaber in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
It immediately put me in that mindset where I was like, wow, it's that green.
Yeah.
And it made me really feel like there was some underlying meaning to that, as part of the battle or as part of the, Anakin versus Ahsoka, the master versus the apprentice, that there was something there that I probably don't have a firm grasp on, but watch it again. And when you watching their lightsaber battle, you'll see the clashes and you'll see this like green element that comes into flash. And I'm sure there's some little backstory to that.
And let us not forget James Earl Jones coming back to voice fucking Darth Vader in this.
And you knew it exactly. Like this was not fucking Chad Vader. Right. This was who does an excellent impression. Chad Vader's very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. This was the motherfucker himself.
Yeah.
Came in there to do the voice. And it
And
it was the Ralph McQuarrie fucking Vader too.
Yeah.
You get the Ralph McQuarrie fucking the way that Vader's helmet was and the mask with the real steep fucking like eye ports and like that helmet. Like when you look at the original Ralph McQuarrie art, that was the fucking Darth Vader. That was the Vader helmet. So many of those little tiny elements.
Yep.
Those tiny elements that only a fucking Star Wars fan would put into a show like that.
And I'm sure you realize this too, but when Ahsoka first shows up and says, something to the effect of, I thought I knew who you were behind that mask, but my master could never be this cruel and sadistic. Never saying his name.
Right. And
then Vader comes back with, Anakin Skywalker was weak. I fucking killed him.
Yep,
so
I destroyed him.
Immediately, basically confirming her suspicions.
Yeah.
You think I'm Anakin under here? Well, Anakin's fucking dead. I'm that person that he used to be.
Right.
So some real good fucking dialogue back and forth. And then he's like, we don't have to be adversaries, cooperate, tell us where the fucking rest of the Jedi are, we'll spare you and whatnot. And this could be a little bit of that, Anakin, the previous life kind of coming out like, hey, that's
Anakin. Like still, this is still my, like, Ahsoka Tano was my Padawan. That was somebody who saw this before it happened.
Right. And Filoni painted this in these last episodes of Clone Wars, this closeness that Anakin had with Ahsoka, even after she left the Order.
Right.
Like, he still had this, I don't know what it was, this semi-attachment to her. Not in like a romantic thing or anything.
No.
But just, you know, somebody that
It's-
was close to him, and he wanted, you know, to protect her, and he wanted her to,
Yeah,
you know, be okay.
It was like a family association, like
Yeah.
a sister almost. It's like you
Exactly.
have this connection with somebody so strongly, and they did a great job of making sure that Anakin, that part of Anakin, it was like, again, I talked about it last week, right? Where Vader's troops were fiercely loyal to him. They fucking would give it everything on the battlefield for fucking Vader, because Vader did the same. He would get out there in front of everybody and fight, just like the clones fought for Anakin. Like, then, you know, as continued to be their leader, then I got to be really, really careful right now, because I'm listening to Heir to the Empire.
Oh, yeah.
And I started to have this rocket of consciousness just came out. I just had to bat it out of the way.
Yeah, because now we have to keep the separation of church and state,
Yes,
right? Legends and canon.
Yes. And I was like,
So-
bleh. But all right, back to fucking canon.
Mhm.
And all the validation for Anakin's connection to the people that he cared about was always going to be there.
Yeah.
Like, did fucking Anakin truly destroy Ahsoka? We know the answer to that.
But do we? Because that's the weird thing about this. And I'd love to go back and listen to our initial review of these episodes,
Mhm.
because it's left very ambiguous
Mm-hmm.
how this episode ends. Like, let alone, like, we haven't even talked about the emotional portion of the confrontation between Ahsoka and Vader, where she
Right.
fucking cuts off his helmet, and then you see half of his face, and he's like, Ahsoka. And it's the fucking voice actor who did Anakin in the Clone Wars with the Vader voice at that point.
Yep.
Which, oh my God, like,
It's-
the levels of depth you're getting with that
Yep.
at this point are just fucking insane. But it's really left ambiguous what really happened, because these last shots that we get in these episodes, it's Vader fucking limping out of the rubble of this fucking Sith temple that collapsed. He's been beat
with
the
the
fuck.
labor, and it's like the labored breathing that you get when he's like the near death Vader. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the same breathing that Vader has when Luke saves him.
Right, exactly. And, you know, you see that fucking bird again that you saw potentially at the end of Clone Wars. And then you see some version of Ahsoka walking down these steps at the end of this episode. It's like, okay, is this like her spirit or her ghost walking down the steps, or did she survive? Like, what the fuck? And they never really expanded upon that until Ezra went into the fucking Stargate and fucking pulled Ahsoka out mid-battle.
Right.
So we really don't know if she was ever actually fucking, like, legitimately dead or not
Right.
at the end of this. But to go back to my original point, you see that compassion, even as Darth Vader, that he has towards this person, Ahsoka Tano, where he extends that olive branch, where he's like, hey, tell us where the Jedi are. You know, we don't have to be enemies.
Right.
You know, we could still be cool in the gang, which goes back to that attachment that Anakin had to Ahsoka.
Yeah.
In whatever form that it.
Yeah. And
what
I
it
think
was.
it's that attachment that Anakin, when he felt strongly about someone or something, then that was his thing. It's like, fuck, I will give my life to protect this.
Yeah.
You know, and he did that to the point where it pushed him over the edge. And when you read in the comics and you go through the Vader comics, like we did it reviews on 2 different series of Vader comics,
Yeah.
and it's still continuing with different levels, and it's just almost impossible to keep up with. But within that, you see when he's sending Doc Afra out on missions and doing shit like that, that it's like he's still that's still part of him. It's like he's got this unrest. He has this part of him that the part that's making him so strong is the fact that, you know, he failed his fucking girl, like, and he's constantly in like a recovery mode, and like anything that's in his way to fucking stop him from getting to where he feels satisfied, that he feels like he's done everything he can do, he'll fucking destroy everything in front of him. I mean, the power he displays while he's Vader is still like, we get snippets of it in what we actually get to see, but in the comics and in some of the other storylines and some of the books, you hear about how fucking vicious Vader was.
Yeah.
He had no reason to fucking keep Ahsoka alive. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit. He had Inquisitors to go fucking find out where the Jedi were.
Right,
That had nothing to do with it. It was more about, like you were talking about. It's like, so some level of reconciliation. Like, I have this part of me that still needs Ahsoka to be alive. Like, there's still some level of protection there until she tells me to go fuck myself. And then I'm like, all right, you know what? Fuck you too.
Which, you know, and it goes back to that scene in Empire, right? Palpatine, we have a new enemy, Luke Skywalker. Vader's like, well, if he can be turned,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like, yeah,
so
it's kind of my kid.
At the end of the day, you know, there is still some sort of humanity behind that mask and everything else, and I think that's just this scene in particular in Rebels is just better illustrating that. Especially now that we have all of this context with Clone Wars,
Right,
and his attachment to Ahsoka as well.
Right.
So
I think honestly, to keep our not safe for work like moniker, we just have to go ahead and say it that Annika was probably holding her by her leku and fucking walking around like a goddamn wheelbarrow, and that's why he had this attachment to her.
Oh my god, I have no comment on that. I think she was still underage at this point.
I'm just saying, not when she came back. I mean, she had to have, like, Ahsoka's probably from like some state that listens to the podcast that I'm not going to go ahead and make some fucking derogatory comment about, but that has consent ages less than what you would think would be normal.
You are just asking for trouble with everything.
Really? I'm asking for trouble? Like, as opposed to the fucking women who know their place?
You know what I meant.
Listen to the first 10 minutes of this podcast, people, and go back to when Jason fucking made sure that fucking women knew their place.
That is not what I said.
It is exactly what you said. Jamie, play the fucking tape.
Totally out of context.
Is it? Is it? Maybe we weren't wearing our headset at the time.
I don't even know what to say.
Play with your dolls.
Right.
Oh my god. Anyway.
So honestly though,
Lunar Girl.
This is all Dave. I swear to God.
Look, I have one job on this podcast.
To throw me off the rails?
2 jobs on this podcast.
So honestly though, like I said before, after watching these episodes, I'm like, fuck man, I gotta go back and rewatch Rebels. When was it that we finished recording all of our episodes about Rebels?
I couldn't tell you.
It feels like it was like a year ago, right?
It might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was part of the hiatus when you were out of the area.
Yeah, I know we did do a lot of Rebels while I was gone, but I think we had to finish after I got back.
Look.
Oh no, I see it. I definitely see it. So
oh man. Anyway,
exclusive for the YouTube audience.
Yeah, you check that out on YouTube. Yeah, you'd have to look back. I think. Look, I'm going to go ahead and say this now, that I think as we're talking about what's coming up next, when we're talking about the 150th episode and doing all this other stuff, and kind of let it slip out. I mean, we talked about it before, talking about Heir to the Empire and like getting back to our roots. Listen, this is a really, really good stopping point when it comes to the canon.
Yeah.
This is a great place to stop because we closed the loop with the end of Clone Wars and, talking about Ahsoka Tano. We went through the book and everything else.
And we closed the book on Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Between the movie and the novelization and everything else.
So talking about what's going to happen after 150th, like the 150th episode is all about you guys.
Yep.
So whatever Star Wars content you want to bring to the table, bring it. Right. If you want a spot on the show for next week, we're taping on Monday between the hours of 1500 and probably, 1500 to whenever.
Yeah.
Eastern Daylight Time. So figure it out. Get on Facebook. However you get hold of us, let us know you want a spot on the show, and we'll start working out the logistics of that. It's going to be through StreamYard, and we'll send you a link and all that good shit. But I want to be bold. I want this stopping point. I want to feel this good about the canon until the Thrawn stuff comes out and everything else, and we can talk about that as it comes out. But
the reality is the High Republic,
thing. I'm ready to fucking go till October, and when the next Mandalorian series comes out, and solely focus on Legends material.
Yeah.
A legendary summer, as you so well as you so appropriately coined. Because I'm listening to Air the Empire, and if you want to talk about fucking like scratching an itch that you didn't realize you had that bad,
Yeah.
did you start listening to it yet?
Yeah.
It's fucking amazeballs. It is so like I'm only an hour and a half into a 12-hour book, and Air the Empire, like when we start doing this, we're gonna do it right. We're not necessarily going to be completionists, but we're definitely going to hit the highlights. And Air the Empire's the fucking beginning
Right, because
of a very long road.
Yeah, that's where it all started.
And
so
the fucking straight out the jump, the way the characters are fucking developed in Air the Empire immediately makes what we've got almost garbage. It almost makes, I mean, I'm listening to this and I'm like, they had such an opportunity here. Like that Legends material that I was able to fucking keep behind me and talk about only esoterically, and and just really just appreciate for what I got an opportunity to read. Now that we talked about and we're going to get into like several months where we're just doing Legends material, and the fact how good this fucking says, or how good this fucking is, it blows me away.
Yeah.
Even with all the stuff that we have now, all the good stuff, the stuff that we just talked about with the Clone Wars and Filoni and all that good shit, rewind back to when the Air the Empire came out and say, here's your kicking off. Here's what happens post Jedi. And you're going to realize, like, nipple hardening fucking good that this shit is straight out the jump.
It's, oh my God. I don't even know where to start with this. So we'll start in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll
with
start
Heir
in
to
2
the
weeks.
Empire, but I'll have so much to say at that point, like where I was and what I was doing when I read this book for the first time back in 1993 or whatever it was. So, so much to get into.
Yeah, and if you listen, for everyone who's listening right now, and we're talking about, the 150th show is going to be very visual. So from a podcast perspective, you may not get a lot out of it, but we want to interact with you, the fan. So if you aren't a YouTube person, still reach out to us.
Yeah.
We'd love to. We want to hear from you. Like that's what this show is about. But after that, when we start getting into our legendary summer, we should have
Summer
it on
of
t-shirts. Summer of Legends. There you go. Whatever. Let's get that on t-shirts.
Yes.
When we start going down this road, it's going to be very hard to come back. It's going to be very hard to come back because unless this New Republic or the
High Republic
shit, New Republic, fucking already in my brain. The High Republic stuff, thank God it doesn't have anything to do with this canon. So we can probably run a parallel to it and not really feel any kind of way about it.
Probably.
I have a feeling.
Yeah.
But this, an hour and a half, dude, 90 minutes is all it took. Actually, it took less than that, but like 90 full minutes of just me listening to the legendary material and going, God, this was so fucking good.
Well,
this was so much better than what we got.
And imagine, being a fucking high school kid, right? You've been a lifelong Star Wars fan since you were practically a fucking toddler. Haven't seen anything since 83, right? Then all of a sudden, 10 years fucking later, they're releasing these books that are like, okay, now we're going to continue the story of these characters that you grew up knowing. Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Leia, we're going to continue this fucking story. And you read these and they're as good as, you're obviously seeing right now.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
The storytelling, and this is really hard. Like so if, you're a fan of the show and you like that we're following like with the canon, and if you listened to us in the past, we've touched on some, we talked about Darth Bane and we've gone into some of the Legends material, but like for this, if you haven't imbibed on the Legends material and you are like you haven't listened to Heir of the Empire and you want to know what we're talking about. You want to understand when all these people talk about the Legends material and how good it was.
Yeah.
Follow along, kids, because you are going to be taken on a ride that is honestly, this ride can only be taken now that we've closed the book on Skywalker. Honestly, because now, all right, it's done.
Yeah.
Now I can look at the Legends material and that story, knowing that it's not canon. However, this is the alternate universe.
Yeah.
This is one of the Rick and Mortys.
Exactly.
So, and you can look at it that way. And like I said, if you've listened to this podcast and you've heard Star Wars fans talk about how good this material was, wherever you decided to pick it up, like if you started in 1993 with Heir of the Empire, if you picked it up in 2010 with Fate of the Jedi, like the stories are very well written. The character development is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And it filled our void, so to speak.
Like your void filled.
Dave's
into pegging.
But. We I know I'm listening to the 20th anniversary edition of the Heir of the Empire.
Yep.
Narrated by Mark Thompson.
Yep. On Audible.
Yep. So we're listening to the same thing. If you care to follow along at home, and come along with us for this ride, because I can't recommend enough. If you're a fan of Star Wars, even though this is not canon, knowing that this is not canon, it never will be canon. And you're going to wonder why. You're going to wonder why it's not.
Well, and this
you're going to enjoy the shit out of it.
Right. And this is the thing. When Disney bought Lucasfilm, and when they came out and they said they're going to shit can all of this expanded universe material and they're going to make these new movies, there was a very large contingency of Star Wars fans that are like, fuck you. They were so invested in this expanded universe, and you're gonna see why.
Yep.
These stories, be it the Thrawn trilogy, the Jedi Academy trilogy, the Corellian trilogy, into the fucking Vong series, into the Fate of the Jedi series. There is so much here. We're talking hundreds of books.
Yeah. Yeah, easily.
And
the Vong series itself, I think, was 22 books.
22 books.
Yeah.
And it's all so fucking good.
Yeah. And if you're, hey, I'm going to ingest the High Republic. Books.
Yeah. I'm not gonna give that the Heisman. I'm still gonna consume it.
And we're still gonna do that. Like, we're going to cover these things. We're going to do it. However, I'm going to be ingesting those probably like in book form.
Yeah.
And trying to do audiobooks for the other ones so that we're just doing the same. Because I've already read the majority of these books.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to be just kind of a refresher, just to like let it wash over me and go like, oh, it's so good. Oh, Billy.
Yeah.
But yeah, come along with us for a fucking great ride, because we're going to hit the high notes for the Legends material. And yeah, that's my thing. Just come along for the ride. It's fucking, you can not worry about just like, Fred Martin just brought up, don't forget the prequels negated a lot of stuff way before Disney, which is factually correct. Right. However, this story continued even after the prequels. And when we're talking about Legends material, we're talking strictly about non-canon. How it got to be non-canon is almost irrelevant now. Those books are closed.
Yeah.
As part of the sacred Jedi text.
The sacred text.
Now we're going to like read the Rick and Morty's alternate universe of what happened post Jedi and get to follow along with that. And it's not like a comic book series that was really, really good. However, it was only but so long. We're talking hundreds of books, like Jason said, and they're all really, really good. And we're going for that ride this summer. And I'm fucking excited. I'm excited, especially after starting Heir of the Empire and like immediately having a giant throbbing erection about how fucking good it is. Yeah. And like the first time I heard the words Mara Jade, I was just like,
yeah.
It's
one character that they've completely ignored in all of the new canon, she was so pivotal for so many reasons.
Yep.
Oh,
So anyway, that's it. We're talking about what we're doing coming up.
yeah.
Episode 150 again is for you. It's for you, the fans,
You guys.
and we want to interact. Whatever you want to talk about, anything in pop culture.
right.
Prefer to have some Star Wars related stuff. I
Well,
think we'll
and-
probably
and
have some canned questions.
Yeah, part of it's going to be, whenever we have guests on,
Right.
it's always a series of canned questions.
Right. That Jason makes up.
Yeah, I'll make them up. There's typically
Because he does that. I don't have that. No.
Yeah,
That's not my thing.
There's always a marry, fuck, kill. So
Right.
regardless of the gender of the guest that we have at the time, there's going to be a marry, fuck, kill. There's going to be
Bryce Howard, then Bryce Howard, then Bryce Howard.
Sure. And then there's going to be, how did you, where did your Star Wars fandom come from? What was your introduction into Star Wars and all that? And then what I envisioned us doing is, we have our canned questions that we ask each guest, and then they have one question that they ask us. It can be Star Wars related. It can be not Star Wars related, but they get to ask us one question. We just kind of converse for a little while, and then we move on to the next person.
Sure.
So
I am sure that you, executor of the show,
executor.
yeah, you like that, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Executor Roscom.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's got a nice ring to it.
I'm going to be Chimera Dave.
I like it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be fucking great.
Because again, every 50 episodes, it's about you guys.
It is. I've got like adulting to do, or at least.
Oh, fuck. I didn't
Yeah.
realize how late it was.
Yeah, it's 7:45.
All right, so we got to end this show right now because Dave has an 8 o'clock appointment. So that being said, join us next week for episode 150.
Yes,
Again,
please.
if you are one of our listeners, one of our just like fucking loyal followers, and you want a spot on episode 150, get in touch with us on social media. Either join the All Things Star Wars Sidebar Cantina Facebook group and let us know through that, or reach out to us on social media. I am at Darth Roscom on Instagram. You are
At Philly Dave 75.
yes. Reach out to us. Book your appointment because obviously we can't accommodate every single person that listens to the show. But
And we can put up to 4 people.
yeah. So
And
it's
including
like,
us. So 6 total
yeah.
directly underneath you. Sorry, it was an off space
The
thing.
way I like it.
It was an off space thing to 4 people.
Anyway, but yes, we can accommodate a lot, but we got a small time frame on Monday night.
That's what she said.
Yes, on Monday Night Raw. So get with us, book your spot, and hopefully we can accommodate. Otherwise,
And we will still be interacting. Like if you can't, for some reason, you can't get on a stream, like you just can't do it. Hit us up on the chat.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the chat up the whole time. If you have a question you want to ask one of our fucking guests that are on there, fucking ask it.
Yeah.
What the hell? What's the worst happen? We miss it. Oh fuck, sorry. But we will do our best. Like we have no topic. It's all about you guys.
Mhm.
So get hold of us so you can be on the show more than usual.
Indeed. All right. So reach out. Until then, Dave has a meeting he has to get to. So with that being said, Dave, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you. Okay, now what do I click?
All right. Export audio.
Now, Lunar Girl said,
totally-
need to restart show and find out what you guys said about my boy Eli.
Did you say anything about Eli?
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
I
remember
did.
you saying anything about him.
I'm a little drunk. You'll love it. It's all good. You're gonna love it. I had just end up doing the Zoom from here.
Jesus Christ.
Honestly, like I won't get home in time to be able to have it fucking set up.
All right.
So I'm stuck here for however long it takes me to do this Zoom. Or I'm only going to be in there for.
You want me to bring out a sleeping bag? You want to sleep in here tonight too?
Well, no, I don't. Pour him a drink. I'm gonna leave.
I've had enough.
I want to leave it there until whenever.
So one thing that I realized over the last few weeks, I haven't been drinking much in the way of alcohol. At
Mhm.
all. for like probably the past couple of months, really. And I gotta say, the show gets kind of stale when I'm not drinking, So
Is that what happens?
that was one of the things that I kind of decided this week. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna tie one on. I'm gonna just
It's one night. It's one night a week.
one night. Yeah, exactly.
It's one night a
So,
week. Or not like you don't have to drive,
right.
You don't have to commute to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
You just got to get logged in by fucking 7 a.m.
Yeah, quite frankly, the podcast is more fun when I'm drinking more. But if I don't have like
Yikes.
detailed notes, then it's just a lot of like,
He's staring at me trying to pick up cues to stay on topic.
yes.
The guy that doesn't stay on topic. That's not a good plan.
Right.
You need a better plan.
Well, what I need to do is I need to take better notes next time because, again, I just watch these episodes and I'm just watching them like a fan. I'm just like, oh, so good. And I'm like, oh shit, I should write something down.
Listen, there is something to be said for actually enjoying the show.
Yeah.
That you're watching, and I have a tough time. I have a tough time taking notes on that stuff because a lot of the things like. I enjoy more kind of springboarding off of what you kind of found. And like, then I can say like, oh, this is how I felt about that. And then something close to that. Like, so if you're keeping us like in the middle of the target, like I'm there to bounce back and forth.
Right. And normally I can do that. Even if I'm drinking, if I take notes, then I can keep us on point and I can, bring up everything that I wrote down. But for this particular purpose, I didn't take anything.
Dude. No bullshit. Fucking listening. Started Heir to the Empire today and like getting into it. I'm like, this is going to be. I have the feeling. So I didn't talk about it on the show, and this is for the exclusive for the YouTube audience.
Yep, this is our post show
that's hanging in there. Thank you, Scott. I'm just going to stay here and open the Zoom whenever. I'm procrastinating honestly because my bullet points and everything are not ready. Whatever, we'll do it live.
Yep. As we do.
What was I talking about?
We were talking about the Heir to the Empire and
how
awestruck you are.
So we did the work over the weekend, and Kathy on Saturday night was like, "Hey, I want to watch Rise of Skywalker." I'm like, I can't. I got to write this paper. Like I've been outside all day working, and I have fucking 5 at the time papers that had to be done by Sunday. Like I can't. Why are you doing this to me? Like you're putting on Star Wars. Like, oh, I'm gonna draw you out. Like, but I can't. I just can't.
Yeah.
So she puts Rise of Skywalker on, and I was talking to my son Jeff, who happened to be home. Like, he was there for
oh really
staying overnight for Mother's Day.
Good.
And he has a great idea for when we start doing the thing. By the way.
Okay.
I'll let you know as soon as I'm done telling this point. But hey, look who showed up late to the party. So we were talking, and I'm like, yeah, I think the reason, like, I have a tough time. I haven't rewatched Rise of Skywalker because of the finality of it. Like, no matter how I'm watching, because they had it on in the other room, and I'm listening to the things, I'm listening to the music, and I'm like, God, it hurts. It hurts me.
Yeah. Like
there's an emotional toll that it takes on me thinking about the finishing of the series. That's again why I think what I'm going to have happen when we're going into Legends materials. We're going to start talking about all the stuff, and I was so passionate about with these series, and probably when we're done with it, I'm going to have that same fucking 2 weeks, that same feeling of fuck, we're done with this. This is the end of it.
Yeah. And
not as much though, because it is the story. It's like I already had to fucking, I had the postmortem already on the fucking book series, right?
Hold that thought. Luna Girl, 2 weeks. So 150 is the listener episode, where we have the call-ins and everything. 151 is where we're going to review Heir to the Empire.
Yep.
So two weeks from today.
We should get 151 for the show. Like the rum.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Jason, it's a thing.
I don't know.
All right. You know what? No, we're not going to do that because Jason's.
No, I like the idea. If there's really a rum called 151, then we for fucking sure should be drinking it.
The best Mai Tais that you've ever had have been made in 151.
Is there rum in Mai Tais?
Oh my god, Jason.
I don't know. I just asked for the drink and they give it to me and I drink it and then I'm fucking just toasted by. Here's the thing about going into Hawaii, by the way. So the crazy thing is we leave at a normal hour out of New Jersey, right? And you're going to Hawaii. We fucking landed Hawaii like fucking 6 a.m. local time, right? After flying for fucking 12 hours or 11 hours or whatever it is.
It's harder than that because you don't have the legs to get there.
So you've been awake.
Never get a tanker. So you're flying all the way into like either San Diego or Travis.
Because you got to refuel.
You got to get gas.
So that adds 2 hours onto your fucking trip minimum.
Then you got an oceanic leg.
Yeah, and then
listen to fucking HF for 4 or 5 hours.
Imagine that in your ears for fucking 5 hours. Anyway, so you get there and it's like fucking 6 a.m. Hawaii time. You've been awake for fucking 20 hours minimum at this point.
Yep.
And then everybody's like, well, fuck, let's go get Mai Tais. Right? It's like, oh, fuck. Right? So you get Mai Tais and you start pounding them down. By fucking noon, you are fucking lit and you haven't slept in God knows how fucking long. And you're just all fucked up.
And you end up blackout drunk until... Like there was an incident, a documented incident, not documented, I guess.
It's documented if you talk about it here.
Yeah. So documented incident then, where we were on a trip and we were at fucking, it's one of those trips. Like we got in a similar situation where we get into Hawaii at a certain particular hour. We got a repositioning leg. So we get an extra sleep out of it. And we happen to be with fucking the general. Mike Charlie. And the who has been known to tie one on. And I may or may not have gotten drunk to the point where I had purchased a back scratcher at one of the ABC stores. And I may or may not have assaulted a fucking waitress with it.
Wow.
Allegedly. We should have a podcast just about Dave.
Holy shit.
A Dave Shenanigan podcast.
Just fucking like road stories, man.
Well, that's what the book is going to end up being, but I think I have to write that under a different name. Yeah. But
shit.
They're talking about the Stephen King shit, and we're talking about getting drunk in Hawaii. But so I had the back scratcher. I didn't buy it. We were with Mike Charlie when he bought it. It was on the we were in Duke's at like 2 a.m.
Holy shit.
Eating like the whole table of us.
Well,
like,
Duke's
including him.
Great.
Yeah. Duke's is fucking phenomenal. And so I ended up I ordered something and they cut me off. Fucking bastards.
They cut you off.
They cut me off.
No shit.
Shocking.
Wow.
Not really that shocking, honestly, those who know me. They cut me off and I got a little irritated about it. And so I took Mike Charlie's fucking back scratcher and I fucking got bam right at the ass of the fucking waitress.
No fucking way.
Bam! Holy shit, they were on me like fucking dude. They were fucking giant fucking Samoans on me immediately to fucking escort me out there. And fucking Mike Charlie stood up. He's like, "Hey, listen, this is who I am. He's one of my guys. I will take care of it." And they said, "Okay."
I have never fucking heard the story.
I got to pay for my shit, and him and I both paid for our shit, and we went down to the beach and we sat on the beach. Listen. The most romantic places in the world I've spent with another dude.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, no, me too.
It's talk to frequent guest the John. Yeah, I've had more romantic dinners with the John than I have had with my own wife. But
that's a cliche with where we came from.
Yeah,
it's like I go to all these romantic places with a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, and sit on the beach until fucking sunrise with the person who's in charge of everybody, and fucking just fantastic.
Wow.
yeah, but yeah, I may or may not have assaulted a fucking waitress at Duke's.
And you like almost got your ass beat by a bunch of fucking Samoans.
Dude, they were on me so fucking fast.
Wow.
And we were being a little rowdy. Yeah, you bet. We flew this relatively small airplane with a large crew.
Mm.
And like whenever we occupied a particular space, depending on who we were with, that space could get really, really obnoxious. And that happened to be this particular space on that particular time.
Mm.
And yeah. So Jason, what happened to Project VCR on iTunes?
I shut it down because even after Doug and I had the falling out, I still kept paying for the service for a while.
Right.
I even dropped it down to the $5 thing where it's like it's bare minimum hosting service, but you know, a year later, Doug still wouldn't talk to me, so I'm just like, all right, guess that's it. I fucking canceled the last fucking money I was paying for the hosting service, and Project VCR no longer exists. So, you know, I'm sorry. Like, it's weird, man. You know, this guy that I've been, you know, like the best of friends with since we were fucking 13, 14 years old, you know, basically cuts me off. Yeah, what do you want me to do? You know,
hey, stand by your conviction and be convicted, and he just happened to do that.
Yeah, and
Ivo G's highlighted a day is the most romantic place I've been with a dude.
Yeah,
that honestly, it's not even a cliche. It was legitimately our lives.
Yeah, you know what's fucked up? Kristen's still friends with Doug on Facebook.
I am too.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Mainly for spying purposes.
Right.
Like I don't interact with it at all. I won't like any post or anything else. I'm just it's more out of morbid curiosity, to be honest.
Well, and you've seen the shit that he posts, I'm sure, because I've seen it, you know, through Kristen, and he's still that way. And I'm just like, even after all of that, I tried to reach out to him a couple of times and I got nothing. So it's like, all right, well,
hey man,
you do you, but
they, you know, you lie graves, sleeping graves lie.
Yes, something like that. So I have to piss like a motherfucker.
Yeah, and I need to start it.
Your Zoom is in 2 minutes.
I'm starting a Zoom right now
at my house.
Yeah.
So, all right. So
I am muted.
We're going to end the broadcast.
Thank God.
And you're going to have to enable your audio and.
Oh, do I? Fuck.
Well, yeah. Unless. So what we can do is we can take the USB that's going out of that from that into here and put it into your thing.
They don't need to see they don't need to see me.
It's audio.
Exactly.
Not video.
They don't need to see me.
Audio is them hearing you, not seeing you.
Right. So they don't need to see me. It'll be fine.
I don't know what's going on right now. All I know is I have to piss really fucking bad.
Bye-bye.
So thanks to everybody who stuck with us up to this point. Ivo G, Scott, Lunar Girl, anybody else who's in there.
Ivo G.
And again, if you want to spot in episode 150, reach out to us. Like personally reach out to us. Like Scott sent me a text message earlier. Right. So like you've got your spot, Scott.
Yeah. Put a pin in the Bulgaria questions. We'll definitely bring those up later.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll put a pin in that.
Yeah.
But thank you, Scott and Tevin and
Tevin was in.
Yeah, totally Tevin was in. Fred Martin, you know, from Australia. God damn it! Wow. Apparently, I have been drinking. Also, fuck.
My God.
I'm supposed to go into the Zoom and fucking run.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week for episode.
Cheers.
150.
Can't wait. Peace. All right. Okay, now what do I click?